1080 The Fan.
Hey, what it do? What is up? What's going on? It's me, Rop, and Big Sukanik is not here today. He is out partying with Dusty Hera.
Thanks for the invite, boys.
Yeah, no kidding. What's that about?
Chopped liver?
Yeah, so Dusty from Midday fame and his newfound mustache fame invited Big Suk out to a, I don't know, some sort of...
Like a coastal crab feed? Something
Yeah,
like that?
except that Danny was saying it's in Eastern Oregon.
So, in the past, I believe it has been in Eastern Oregon. Suk was talking earlier this week like he was going to the coast. So
He definitely... Look, when I was talking to him yesterday, he said it was on the coast, but at the same time,
this is the same event that has been in Eastern Oregon previously.
Yeah, and
I
I just think, well, I always thought it was down at Sauk, but I don't know anything. I don't pay attention, and neither does Suk. So it's you can never. He doesn't. I don't know. I don't know where the hell they are, but they're together. You and I are stuck here doing the show, and Danny, Dusty's partner, had to do a show with Will Ortner, for God's sakes.
Will Ortner, who could take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I have a hot take about that. Well, actually, it's not a hot take. We talked about that yesterday, so no need to belabor, but I just saw Will in here, and I wanted to look him in the eye and see what he said about that. And he does not believe what he is saying. He doesn't believe it.
But I do think that I could take a punch from Mike Tyson.
No. Doesn't believe that?
No. He doesn't believe it. And
he did kind of start to walk it back almost immediately.
He knows, but what he is he's got that Sukanik gene of, hey, I said it, I'm not going to back down, and even though I know I'm wrong or I think I'm wrong, I'm just going to double down.
Yeah, just soldier ahead.
That's what they do. Look, I got caught in a few of those early in my sports radio career. You know, you get all cocky, you're all high tea, you're on the radio, you're going to say something crazy. Maybe you believe it, and then people shout you down, and you realize you're an idiot, and then you're like, oh, that's probably not true. But then you just fight through it and stick with it anyway, right? That's what Will's doing.
Do you have one of these in mind, an outlandish claim that you made?
Gosh.
And not to put you on the spot. If you don't, that's fine. Maybe we can work on this throughout the show.
I don't remember one specifically, but, you know, I've had that feeling. You know, where it's like...
we all have at some point in some way.
Yeah, you say something, and then you get the feedback on it, and then you realize you are so on an island, and that makes you realize, oh, maybe I'm not right about this. So I don't know. Or maybe I'm just that smart. The only one that sees it. Probably not, though. And I think that's where Ortner is. I saw it in his eyes. I saw it in his Weasley squinty little eyes.
Well, and it's a little bit different too if it's something that can be tangibly proven or not. Like I remember the whole thing with how much McDonald's Mike Lynch could eat. Well, you guys could actually like test that out and prove that. Like we're not going to get to prove the Mike Tyson punch on Ortner thing. I mean, we could have him take a punch from somebody else who's not Mike Tyson and prove that that's just as difficult, but I think when it's the person claiming something that can't actually be proven, it makes it worse. It's like, come on, dude.
Well, but it also makes it easy for them to stick to it.
Right.
You know.
Right. And even if it's not realistic.
Now, I also happen to... Have you ever done this? Have you ever caught someone deleting a tweet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I have, I guess.
So, and this happened because I just happened to be scrolling through X this afternoon. Twitter.
Were you going to like grab it and screenshot it and then it disappeared?
Well, no, I read it and I thought, he's doubling down. Well, then, and I'm just going to go double check that he has not, I just want to make sure I'm right about this. But it involves the great Joe Fisher, the third, who also proclaims, so Will Ortner proclaims that he can take a punch from Mike Tyson. We all think that's ridiculous. Joe Fisher thinks he can run a sub 5.27 40. Right. So we've been talking about this all week. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, Cat Williams, the comedian, ran a 40, and they filmed it, and NFL tweeted it out, and it's a 4.97.
Okay.
So Joe Fish captioned that 40, the video, and he said, if Cat Williams can run a 4.97 at the age of, I don't know what he is, like 52 or something, me at 33, I can run a 5.27.
See,
that's what he said. Now, that has since been deleted.
That logic or justification, it doesn't, I mean, it's a nice thought for him to be able to make that leap, but that is making a leap.
So he deleted that. And the way I know he deleted that
And by the way, Cat Williams is 52. You can't see it anymore?
Yeah, it's gone. And he put a new caption up
Oh.
that says, "There is no effing way this is a 497."
So it went from I can do this to
Yeah.
this guy didn't do this.
Exactly. So it's good times around here at the Fan. We're having some fun. We got a lot of good personality, a lot of good guys at the station. Everybody's making proclamations. It's great. That's what sports radio is all about. Yeah, it's where the hard dudes are. It is where the hard dudes. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna say something crazy today, just to try to keep up. These young Sparkies out there. All right. Well, Big Zook. We don't know where they are, but I think there's some sort of crab thing. I mean,
Crab and beer.
It's got to be on the coast if it's a crab.
See, that's it. You would think, but I do know this event where they consume a lot of crab has taken place in Eastern Oregon previously. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a Dusty bro thing where he's got a bunch of football bros down there.
Yeah, a lot of linemen.
They're all high tea. They're probably doing the Omaha drill right now, and betting on it.
What did they do in succession? Bore on the floor?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was when it was the weird thing where they went to like the house or the manor, and then the dad, Logan, was gonna he invoked this old bore on the floor thing that he made the kids do, where they have to like crawl around and fight each other, kind of.
I don't remember that.
Can you recall this? Okay,
no,
but
I
I
love
being a
that
Succession guy that you'd be on it.
I know. I don't remember. Anyway,
They might be doing that up there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all football-y. But Suk will be back on Monday. We got a good show. Joey Harrington's going to join us. I think he is currently at Chiles Center watching his Central Catholic Rams in the boys basketball semifinals, state semifinals. I have not looked at the scores. Please don't tell me. I want to be surprised when we bring him on. Although I'll probably give him to you in the Hot 5 at 5, so maybe I won't be surprised. But he's going to come on at 5:30, and we will have story time. Tonight in the club, we have this has been in my notes for a while, but we finally got around to just getting the songs and bringing them to the show to play for you. But according to science, we have the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. And that'll be tonight at 6. In the meantime, I think we're going to bring back Friday Randoms today.
Those scientists better check their hypotenuses, dude.
Friday Randoms used to be a staple back in the day, and then we kind of got rid of it.
Can you explain it to me?
Well, it's just random stuff, It's like...
I feel like a lot of our whole week could be Friday Randoms, though.
Well, that's the whole point, is that I looked at my notes this morning, and there was a lot of stuff we haven't gotten to this week, but it's all random. So it's that time of year. So I've put that all together in a segment or 2 or 3 or 4, we'll see how long it goes, of Friday Randoms, which is a former Primetime staple.
I might have a random to throw in there. I don't know if it caught your eye this week.
Also, my wife is, it's rare that Nurse Nice comments on sports.
Okay.
But when she does, she is passionate. And a part of Friday Randoms today will be her latest commentary of something in sports that she absolutely cannot believe.
Okay.
So she's one that believes, like, for example, she watches football with me, and she's like, how is it that the kicker is allowed to miss? It's like their only job. Like, that's her big...
Right, sure.
She's like, you should make that every time.
Like, that's all he does, right?
Yeah.
So why doesn't he just make it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So things like that. Mm-hmm. This one I happen to be watching the NBA. How about that? Me watching the NBA. Damn it! And she made a comment that I want to bring to you. Because she's not wrong. I don't think she's wrong about this. Anyway, that will be we'll probably get going on that this hour. We do have some news. Washington is losing a basketball coach. Well, they're not. That sounds like he's leaving. Well, he is leaving, but they fired him.
Yeah,
they don't want him anymore.
It's I don't know if it's actually a mutual parting. They made it sound like a pretty soft blow, but he's not going to coach there anymore. That's fired.
Mike Hopkins is out.
What a disappointment that ended up being.
Boy, you ain't kidding. And I was thinking about that, going, was that because his record? He has a winning record, believe it or not, at Washington.
I almost don't believe it.
I know that surprised
believe it or not,
me too.
I might take the or not.
He's a former Jim Boeheim assistant and
disciple.
I feel like he should have been fired a long time ago, but I think Washington, money and
stuff,
all that. So he is out, and there is one name and one name only, one phone call that they need to make, and that's it. Well, unless he says no, and then you make another phone
Wait,
call.
Is it a guy whose team only scored 9 points in the first half yesterday?
What? Pacific? No.
You know who their coach was that got turfed?
No.
Lorenzo Romar.
Oh, really?
So he's available again. They could hire him back.
Wait. Wait.
I was stunned by this too.
Pepperdine beat Pacific yesterday.
I'm pretty sure this is the
And the
case,
score
unless I'm
was-
conflating two different things. But
The score was 58-9 at half. And we mentioned that Pacific had just fired they had previously fired its coach. They were on an interim coach, so they had mailed it in. You're telling me that previously fired coach at Pacific?
oh no, wait, he's the Pepperdine coach. Sorry.
Yeah, he won that game.
Yeah, sorry, I thought he was on the losing end of that game.
Okay.
The Pacific coach got sent packing.
So Romar is at Pepperdine?
Apparently since 2018.
Wow, okay.
I didn't know that, but
And
yeah,
kicking
he's in his
fools-
7th season there.
Kicking some butt.
I
Kicking
guess.
Pacific's butt. They
Holding
won
him
by
to
like,
9 points over a 20
Yeah.
minute span.
They won by like 50. By the way, Lorenzo Romar, where was he before? Do you have him up on your
Yeah. Yep.
Where was he before Washington? Was it a Big 12-ish school?
Private school, St. Louis. The
Oh,
Bellicans.
okay, yeah.
And then before that, he was the head coach at Pepperdine. So this is his second stint there.
Yeah, so when he was at St. Louis,
Did they win a tournament game?
no, they were playing in Kansas City against KU.
Okay.
And I don't remember the sitch. It might have been an NCAA tournament game. I don't know what it was. But they were playing and we were there and we happened to be on the same floor as him in the hotel.
Uh-huh.
And we just happened, I think we were right across the hall. I can't remember the exact details, but I remember walking down the hall and somebody was knocking on a door and Lorenzo Romar was the one who opened that door. And I went, oh my God, I think that's the coach. And then I looked down. Yeah, I saw a little too much.
Oh.
True story.
He was opening his door naked?
Boxers.
Oh, okay.
But you know how boxers have the
yeah.
thing in the front and
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yep. I've never seen so much dong in my life. Come on. But I saw it. Well, not all of it, but far too much of it.
It's also one of those things that I don't know.
I never told him that though.
That's probably nice of you. If you work in and cover sports long enough, that you just see accidental dong from time to
You
time.
do.
It just
Yeah. You see nudity.
it just happens, but then the problem is there's still something in our heads that like whenever you see that person on TV, you're like, "Yep, I saw that."
No, wait a minute.
And
No, the text line is in, and they are saying that Pepperdine just fired him.
after the win,
Well, that's what the text line said. I don't know if they're right. Did they fire Lorenzo?
I don't know. See, I saw yesterday on Twitter that he'd been fired. At least I thought, but then that wouldn't make sense because they smoked Pacific yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It says he's out after the season's over. That was 3 days ago. So
it was a predetermined, regardless of. Oh, so this is his players,
so he's
putting
out.
on for him one more time.
Now you wouldn't bring him back, would you? If you're UW?
No. I was just that.
He did
I
a
was
good
just-
job there, but I mean, I think
No, he did for a while. And then he kind of just, I guess, faded a little bit. I don't really remember. He didn't have some massive fall from grace, right?
No, but he got them pretty high. The Brandon Roy years and all that,
Mhm.
and then after that, he just never followed it up. And then they had the whole thing with the Porters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know. One call, and one call only. That's the call I'd make. We'll get to that here shortly. But let's get our poll question in. That will be next. It is 3:14 on the Fan.
What's your opinion?
All right, the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. It is 503-864-6326. Somebody said, go look at all the NBA players Romar had at Washington. It's true. I haven't gotten that far yet because I was just looking up the date of when I saw a little too much of Lorenzo Romar. And I did verify that. Verifiable. December 30, 1999.
He's like, yes, I do remember having my boxers open in a hotel hallway.
Well, to be fair to him, he was in his room. I just happened to be walking by when he was getting room service or something. But, yeah, those things were filleted open. I saw a little too much of the bottom half of Lorenzo Romar. But that was Kansas beat St. Louis 71-60. We were at Kemper Arena for that game. We'd always go to Kansas City for games and follow KU. And so that did happen, 1999, December 30. But I was thinking at the break that it's better that I saw a little too much of Lorenzo Romar than the next St. Louis Billikens coach. Do you remember who that was?
The next St. Louis.
Well, I don't know if he followed Romar, but he was there. He was there later.
I know that they've been kind of a launching pad for some pretty good coaches. But I don't recall. No.
Rick Majerus.
I should have just guessed it. That was gonna be my guess.
You knew that.
I did know that.
And I think Majerus. Yeah, there was one guy. Brad Soderberg was in between Romar and Majerus at St. Louis, and I can't remember if. See, now I'm getting into a whole. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, Majerus was at Utah before St. Louis, and damn, he did a good job at Utah.
I've heard some awful things about Majerus.
Yeah, he was an interesting guy, but also very tough to play for.
And it's seemingly not a very nice human to most people around him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd always have him on. He was very interesting and nice.
I heard some pretty off-color stories from Andrew Bogut when I was covering him with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
He played for him there, and the dude was kind of
yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he lived in a hotel. He did that
Right.
whole thing where he
Right.
didn't live in a home. He just got maid service every day at the Hilton or wherever.
Right.
Which is already kind of odd enough. But, yeah, he would, like, call people to his room and make them, like, do chores and errands and odd things. It was it's kind of strange.
Yeah, so I'm thinking off the top of my head, Romar's guys at Washington, Isaiah Thomas and Brandon Roy.
Nate Robinson comes to mind.
Nate Robinson, right? Those are probably the main ones.
Yeah, you got, let's see. I mean, now I've got other guys in my head, but I'm like, I don't know if they're good enough. Like Justin Holiday. I don't know if he played for Romar though.
Because I think Rory was there like right at the start of Romar at UW. At any rate, more on that coming up. Let's get our poll question in. It's on X at 1080 The Fan. It's brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling. Family business helping families for over 60 years. AAAIAQ.com. Yesterday, the poll question was, Jake Paul will box Mike Tyson live on Netflix. What say you? Dope, all about it. Joke, but I'll watch. Or Idiocracy, I'm out. Actually, Joke, but I'll watch won that at 47%.
I think that's how most people think about it. They think, oh, come on, these two. But yeah, I'll watch that.
It's Tyson. Nobody cares about Jake Paul.
And nobody asked for this fight, but people don't want to not watch it.
Yeah, it's the allure of that fight, and there is an allure to it, albeit it is Idiocracy. It's stupid, and it shouldn't be happening, and it's a sad state of affairs in boxing. But the allure of that fight is that it's if it's any other fighter that Jake Paul is fighting
no one
who
cares.
is 57, no one gives a crap.
No.
But and his age doesn't really matter because we see these training videos of Mike Tyson, and he is absolutely destroying whoever he's sparring with. Like he looks like he's a badass still at 57.
And more than anything for me, it's like the speed and the power with which he still hits mitts and gloves and bags. I'm like, it just looks like it would punish another human being still.
And we all know he's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's just not sad. Like he doesn't appear like, oh, this is sad. He's fat, he's old, he's drunk, or he just needs money. Dude, he looks like, I mean,
he might need money, but he doesn't look like he's doing this because he's desperate.
Exactly. And so if it's any other fighter no one cares. But because it's Mike Tyson, that's the intrigue. And then the other side of it is I kind of want to see Jake Paul get his ass kicked.
I think everyone does, or
And
most people do.
And I'm not going to sit through a bunch of fights to wait to see it. But I tell you, if there's one person I would love to see kick Jake Paul's ass, it's Mike Tyson.
Back is broken.
So I just feel like they found something with this fight, even though none of the real fighters want to fight Jake Paul because there's no money in it.
I mean, I think if you find someone who people want to see them get their ass kicked bad enough, you can always find a payday for it. Like, I think there are just some people that are so punchable to us, and Jake Paul's high on that list, at least in sports.
But there's no real payday to fighting him. That's why none of the real fighters will fight him. But Tyson will.
And that's probably and because people want to see his face pounded, Tyson might be the best candidate for that.
Exactly. So
like Mayweather's not going to like rearrange him, you know?
It kind of works. Joke, but I'll watch 47%. Idiocracy, I'm out 36%. That's probably where I'll be, but I'll read about it. And then Dope, all about it. 17% say they can't wait. Only one question, really, as I've been watching Mike Tyson training videos. Why does he train in tight little volleyball shorts? What's
Why
that
not?
about? What I mean,
Show off that booty.
Is that how you train?
I don't know. No. That's not how I train. I don't know why he does it.
Really odd.
Boys ass.
Here is today's poll question. It is up there for you on X at 1080 The Fan. How do you feel about college football taking over Friday nights on TV?
Thought you were going to ask about his booty shorts.
No. Like you said, to each their own. But it's odd. How do you feel about college football taking over Friday nights on TV? Dope! About time. That's one. The second answer would be indifferent. And I put little emojis on there today.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm feeling very emoji-centric today. And the last option is sacrilege. And that, of course, referring to leave Friday nights alone.
What was the middle one again?
For high school football. Indifferent.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about time, indifferent, or sacrilege. Vote hard. The news here is that Fox Sports, or Fox, Big Fox, is saying that they are going to bring, I think, at least 9 Friday night games to TV this year. Now, that's nothing all that new. I mean, I was looking at the ratings that Colorado and Stanford, remember when Colorado was a thing last year?
Oh, yeah.
They played Stanford on a Friday night.
Do you believe?
Oh, yeah, that was a great game. That was the one that they blew,
yeah.
right?
Yep, that's right.
They were up huge, and they blew like a 20-something point lead.
Yeah, that was a Friday night game. So they do have, the Mountain West plays some Friday nights. It's Pac-12 games Friday nights. But Fox is looking to kind of crank that up with Big 10 games, Big 12 games, and still some Mountain West games on Friday evenings. I don't know how condensed the audience is due to high school football being played all across the country. I would imagine maybe that's a thing, but they don't seem to care.
To me, that world is moving on anyways. Like, I don't think it's going to like hurt high school football attendance, and I don't think it's going to be something that keeps people from watching Friday night football. I think both things are going to coexist just fine. To me, I get why like Friday's high school, Saturday's college, Sunday's the NFL, that makes sense in my head, but there's no reason we shouldn't get good football on Friday nights on television. There just isn't.
I totally agree with that. I agree with the assessment that high school football will be fine. People are going to go.
People are still going to go watch their kids.
Yeah,
like
their kids are playing.
The kids in high school are still going to go to the game.
They're gonna
and
go.
Nothing's going to change with that.
There's still plenty of people like me who have nothing to do with high school football, and
you weren't going anyways.
I'm interested in some better college football. As a matter of fact, I've said this for years.
But it's not taking you away from high school football. It's not taking most people away from high school football.
Part of my platform that I would like to run on, and this is down the list a ways.
Okay.
Because it's not as important, but I really would like to see football every night of the week. Some form of football every night of the week. And I know that's tough. And people will say, well, you can't do that. Well,
I get to Thursday,
I think you can.
And I feel that way. And because now, if you think about it, now we're going to get football from Thursday all the way through Monday night, and I can take Tuesday, Wednesday. That's fine. That's my football weekend now. Like, that's our weekend off. 5 days on and 2 days off.
No. You're not listening to me. I think football...
You just want to keep it rolling.
Well, yeah. Tuesdays are going to be tough.
Tuesdays are often for Maction.
Right?
Pro football.
Well, and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maction. But I feel like So Fox, what they're doing with this is they like the underutilized windows. They're trying. So they've hit a home run with the high nooner or whatever they call it at 9 a.m.
Oh yeah, the big noon kickoff.
You remember when 9 a.m. games sucked? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was like 3 or 4 years ago. 9 a.m. games. There was never anything good on at 9 a.m. Well, now they've kind of changed that up, and they've taken that and they've made that their own.
No, you'd usually get like Big Ten dregs. You'd get like Northwestern against Purdue or something like that.
Yeah, but now you get good games in there. Fox is smart. They took that over. They're also going to get a lot more. All the networks are going to get a lot more evening game windows because the Pac-12, the West Coast teams are in various leagues now that they can snatch it. That's part of why some of these leagues wanted these West Coast teams. The Big Ten now gets into that late window, and ESPN gets into that late window with those West Coast teams playing a little later. And then the next one, so then Friday night, it was only a matter of time before Friday night popped onto the radar, and now Fox says that they're going to try to take over Friday nights. And I got to tell you, I don't think it's going to be long before they're looking at Wednesdays. Give me
Well, if
3 years.
If you think about it, Thursday might be the most misplaced one right now at all because it's kind of polar opposite of Sunday as far as the other side of the week. So if you're already doing a game on Monday, why couldn't you slide one to a Tuesday?
Well, they do now. Like you said, there are games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You got
I mean bigger, better games.
Right, but you got to be careful with the schedules.
For sure.
You know, that's the thing.
Because people hate Thursday night NFL football. I mean, we all watch it, we all gamble on it, but people are like, this football sucks and the teams suck and I don't actually want this. We gripe about it even though we want it. So if we want it and we want it to be good.
Well, in college, I mean, it wouldn't seem that hard to me. There's so many college teams that even in the good leagues, you could have teams play on a Tuesday and then get a bye, you know, and set up. I mean, you only need, how many weeks are there in a season? 14, 15 weeks. You only need maybe 10 Tuesday or Wednesday night games. And just the teams that you have slated for those games, just give them a bye the next week after they play.
It's kind of like Thursday in the NFL where everyone has to do it once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's our poll question. How do you feel about college football taking over Friday nights on TV? Dope, indifferent, or sacrilege? Vote hard. We'll keep you updated on the results. Today's headlines next, starting with who I think Washington should call. I think they should place one phone call, and hopefully it does the trick.
I'm trying to guess who this is, and I don't know.
Well, I can guarantee. I'll tease it by saying this: none of you are going to know his name.
Oh,
none of you. But it's a no-brainer to me. That's next. It's 3:31. Let's go to Buck with SportsCenter. Today's headlines, there's a couple things going on. While the Pac-12 women's tournament continues, I read a stat about Oregon State, Stanford. So the 4 teams left in that tournament are the top 4 teams in that league. USC, UCLA will play later. Stanford, Oregon State, that's a hell of a game. But I was reading Dashiell's write-up on that, and come to find out, the Lady Beavers are 1-42 against Stanford outside of Corvallis. I don't know if you read that little nugget, but that's crazy to me. And they've lost 17 in a row or something to them.
Yeah, it is, although Stanford has been a powerhouse in women's basketball forever. So it's not that surprising it would be against them.
Nothing to be ashamed of there.
No, certainly not.
Stanford's great. But still, that's a wild stat, especially as good as Oregon State's been. So that's a big one tonight. Washington fired their men's coach, Mike Hopkins. I don't know, man. He had a winning record there, but boy, it didn't ever seem to me he did much of anything up there. So he is out. Probably should have fired him a while ago. Who's next? I got one phone call only. And come to find out, I was looking him up today because I like him. I watch a lot of Big 12 basketball, as you know, being a Kansas fan.
Mm-hmm.
The coach...
Is he? Hold on, is he a head coach currently?
Yes. And so I don't know if you can get him.
I'm going to guess.
He only makes $1.5 million. Okay, who do you think I'm...
I think you're going to say Jerome Tang.
No. Kansas State's guy?
Yeah.
No, he's a fraud.
All right.
TJ Otzelberger. And I
He's
know...
Nebraska? Who's he? Who's
Well, I know that none of you have any idea who I'm talking about. But this guy, I am telling you, his teams are legit. He is the coach at Iowa State. And they
number 6 in the country, Iowa
Yeah,
State.
they're top 10 in the country, and they're pretty nasty, man. I like I said, I watched some Big 12 hoops, and Iowa State is pretty good, pretty damn good. And that guy, he only makes $1.5 million. So I don't know if you can get him out of there because they're into basketball up there. And so I wonder if he wouldn't look at the UW job and go, well, there's more passion in Ames. I can get more done in Ames. I don't know. I don't know if Washington's going to pay their next guy. I don't know how good or bad the Washington job is, but I do know that TJ Otzelberger used to coach at Washington. He was actually an assistant coach under Lorenzo Romar.
So there's a chance you could lure him back a familiar place.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's the call I make. And like I said, I don't know if you get that guy, but I think that's a really good hire. Now, it's not going to win you over in the headlines and win people over in the headlines, and it's not going to knock people's socks off. People are going to be like, who's this guy? But he is legit. He can coach. Other options? I don't know, dude. Do you go after do you try to see if you can pull a Chris Peterson with Mark Few, which you would never be able to do, but you can try.
Yeah, I mean...
You try, don't you?
Yeah, you have to try.
I think you try.
I don't know how big that swing is going to be. Also, I don't really know in college hoops how that landscape is. Like, what kind of coach is the right kind of coach now? I mean, you see guys like we've mentioned just like in football, but like guys like Coach K and Boeheim and dudes like that stepping down, stepping aside. Like, do you need a young upstart, or can you go? Like, is Few as effective now as he was 10 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. You want to go young upstart? You got that Utah State guy, Danny Sprinkle. Are you ready for the sprinkler in Washington?
Sure. I know nothing of this Sprinkle.
He's supposedly pretty good. He's at Utah State. Dusty Mays, the guy at Florida Atlantic.
Okay, yeah.
Seen him in the tournament.
Yeah.
And that Chris Holtmann guy just got fired by Ohio State. For many years, many thought he was one of the top coaches in the country. Really good guy, really good coach. I don't know. He's sitting out there. So I don't know. Can you pull McDermott out of Creighton? Probably not.
Probably not.
Believe it or not, at Creighton, they care more than at Washington. And at Ames,
I bet that's true.
Yeah. They got a big basketball program there. Dana Altman was at Creighton for years. A lot of people texting in, too. You were talking about the poll question there and how you feel about college football taking over Friday nights on TV. A few people have gone down the road of home games and tailgating. Because I was talking about how long before college football goes, some TV network tries to take over Tuesdays and Wednesdays in college football. I don't think it's going to be that long, at least for Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're saying, well, like, for example, a couple texts, home games are about the whole experience, including tailgating, not just the game. Wednesday, realize that at some point people will tune out. Stadiums would be half full. Again, I got news for you guys.
It's maybe it's unfair and maybe it's unpopular.
Yes.
They're not making these
They
decisions
do-
because of the people in the stadium. They do not care.
They do not care about that at all. That means nothing.
As long
to
as
them.
they get people watching
That's right.
at home on their televisions
That's right.
and they can sell ad dollars for it, that is what they want.
I mean, ask Oregon State fan. They had to play all those games in the late window, because
well, and the Pac-12 has done Thursday and Friday night games like we just talked about. Like, it's not like this hasn't happened before.
yeah, and it sucks for fans. It does,
Especially because you get a finite number of home games. You get 6 of them probably, and that means one of them, 20% of them or something like that is not going to be one of the games that you get to go and do your regular thing.
But you just have no say in that. You just don't. It's about TV and it's about eyeballs, and that's the money.
And ultimately, if your school's part of that and getting more money, that is going back into your program too.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that is I don't want to say moot point.
It's a sad but true.
It's not something
just
they're going to
how it
consider.
is.
The Ducks lost last night, but in doing so, they clinched the 4 seed in the tournament, the Pac-12 tournament, thanks to Oregon State beating Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So Oregon will get a bye on Wednesday, and they will play the winner of the 5-12 matchup on Thursday here on The Fan. Arizona won the final Pac-12 regular season basketball title because they beat UCLA. By the way, what's happened to UCLA? Why do they suck?
I don't know. I mean, I thought they had some guys from last year's team that were pretty good that moved on, but I don't know. I've always really liked Mick Cronin, but it seems like he's getting very mixed results there.
Can I throw out my coaches leaving, so therefore his team goes to crap theory on Mick Cronin?
Sure.
Going to Ohio State.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know, but his team sucks.
Yeah.
Has he?
But hasn't
Is he one
they,
foot out
they
the
didn't
door?
just start to suck though, right?
No, I don't think so. They've been bad all year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe. I'd go after Mick Cronin if I were Ohio State. So Arizona wins. The final. Okay, so that's it. I mean, I know we talked about this earlier in the week, but there's just no fanfare. No one cares that men's basketball, women's basketball, the Pac-12, it's over.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's right.
So the final title tally, is UCLA won 32 Pac-12 titles. Of course, most of those back when Wooden was there. Arizona 18, Cal 15, Washington and Oregon State 12. Who knew Oregon State had won more Pac-12 titles in men's basketball than Oregon? Stanford 11, Oregon 8, USC 7, Washington State 2, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah never won. And, of course, Colorado and Utah, you kind of get that. But Arizona State, sneaky, stinky Arizona State. They joined the Pac-12 in 1978. And
I didn't realize it was that late.
They never won a men's basketball title, and they won 3 football titles in almost 50 years. They didn't do anything. Give me the best thing that Arizona ever did. Arizona State in the Pac-12. Dennis Erickson. And that didn't really work out.
Man.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Barry Bonds.
Wait, was he there?
He was an ASU Sun Devil.
Really?
Yeah.
So was Phil Mickelson.
That's right. They have a sneaky good sports alumni base, yeah. John Rahm, too, right?
They were sneaky bad. Yeah. He went there. All right, continuing next. Okay, so they're going to go to college football. The playoff is going to go to 14 teams in 2026. Now, the format of that is going to take a back seat. They're not going to figure that out right away, although there is some momentum to remove one thing that we've talked about already. So we'll get to that. And the revenue distribution model is becoming clearer, courtesy of Yahoo Sports' Ross Dellinger. And so we'll get into that. And that split coming up next. It is 3:45 on The Fan. Well, the last Pac-12 regular season in basketball, men's basketball, came to an end last night. Well, actually didn't come to an end, but because they play this weekend.
Kind of, though.
But it's over because Arizona clinched the title. Washington State lost to Washington. Huskies got to feel good about that. Hopkins got to feel good about that. And then they give him his walking papers the next day. Probably doesn't feel good about that.
Feels less good about that.
Ducks lost, but they're the number 4 in the Pac-12 tournament, so they'll get a first-round bye. Anyway, we were talking about how sneaky bad Arizona State has been in the Pac-12 since joining in 1978. Someone did point out that they have won 5 NCAA baseball titles, College World Series titles.
Yeah, they've always had a really good baseball program and pumped out a lot of pros.
Well, they haven't won anything since 1981, but yes, they do have 5 College World Series titles, 3 in the 60s and 1 in 1977, and then 1 in 81. But you were spitting some pretty big names out at me as far as Arizona State alumni. So I'm going to make you put together the Arizona State sports alumni Mount Rushmore.
Ooh.
And I'm going to give you the following names. You must pick 4. Pat Tillman.
I mean, he's going to be on there.
He's got to be on there.
He's going to be on there.
Barry Bonds, got to be on there.
Has to be on. Well, unless you're doing the whole asterisk thing.
Oh,
but
get out of here.
I'm not saying I am. You know I'm not.
Me?
Bonds is on there. Bonds, Tillman, and I think Phil Mickelson goes on
I think he's on there too.
So now we only have 1 spot. And you have
For a lot of good people.
You have Al Michaels.
Oh, so is it so?
You have
if you're going outside of sports, like you'd have to put like Walter Cronkite on there.
No. That's not outside of sports.
Well,
Al Michaels
okay, I guess
is a
outside of
sportsman.
athletes, yeah, Al Michaels.
Al Michaels, James Harden, Reggie Jackson,
Mr. October,
Dustin Pedroia, John Rahm, Don Wakamatsu.
I think we know who you're putting on there.
Vontez Burfict. Come on. I think I might go Al Michaels. Dude, I think I would be Al Michaels, Pat Tillman, Barry Bonds, Phil Mickelson.
Al Michaels is the most iconic of the ones left that you named.
Maybe Reggie Jackson up there.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of Al Michaels. I don't know. Anyway. The Sun Devils moving to, where are they going? They're going Big 12, right?
That's correct.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll have more luck over there. Certainly should in football. All right, so Yahoo Sports put this out. Ross Dellinger seems to be all over the college football realignment situation and the college football playoff going from 12 teams to 14 teams in 2026, which it is going to do. So they're now saying that the format of the 14-team playoff will have to wait, although Heather Dinich reported today that there is momentum and pushback against the SEC and the Big Ten for receiving guaranteed buys.
Yeah, people didn't like that.
Yeah, and Sonny Dykes, so she quotes Sonny Dykes, the TCU coach, who I believe said it best, saying that automatic buys for the SEC and the Big Ten is like the NFL saying the Cowboys get a first-round bye since they have more fans than the Bengals.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. I don't know that that's entirely true. I don't know that the parallel is that perfect, but I totally get what you're saying. And if you're one of those, I mean, this is a classic case of now the haves, the powers that be, the ones with the bigger purse strings and the bigger teams trying to flex their power and see how much they can get out of it. Like let's see what we can reserve for ourselves. Let's see how much they'll let us take care of ourselves before someone will put their hands up and say, whoa, hold on here.
And I get all that, but and the pushback, and you're right. Like this is the pushback. The pushback is not against the Big Ten and the SEC having more automatic qualifiers. That seems to be understood that those leagues will get more teams automatically in the tournament. But the idea that they are the ones that get the bye, it should be to the most deserving teams. It shouldn't be the teams from the biggest league. So they're pushing back hard on this, and it sounds like they're going to table the format talk for the 14-team playoff until after they figure out the revenue model. Like, in other words, the format can wait. But the revenue sharing is something that's kind of leapt to the forefront. And Dellinger reported this today. He said that, so previously Power 5 leagues would split 80% of the college football playoff revenue evenly. And that's roughly $460 million, okay? So now what they're talking about doing is the SEC and the Big Ten would split 58% of the revenue. The ACC and the Big 12 would split 31% of the revenue, and the remaining 10% will be split by Notre Dame and the 64 Group of 5 teams. So the good news is, according to Dellinger, no school's revenue is projected to actually decrease because the new TV deal is going to bring in over $1 billion. They're saying it's to be about $1.3 billion. So revenue, even though it's a smaller percentage for some of these schools, their revenues will actually still increase because of the size of the increase of the TV deal. The bad news is it's uneven. So projections are the SEC and the Big Ten would split about $760 million. The ACC and the Big 12 would split about $440 million, and then the rest for Notre Dame and the 64 Group of 5 schools, they would split up about $115 million. And that is exactly right there why Notre Dame will end up in the Big Ten, most likely in a conference. That's why, because they'll get a bigger cut of the revenue. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And quite frankly, like you said, the Big Ten and the SEC are flexing their muscles, and there is some pushback on some things. I don't know. I think they could probably justify that 58% number with the amount of eyeballs that are on their teams and their games in this new TV deal.
That's the thing. And they're not at this point yet where they're like, well, we'll do what we want or we're going to walk away. But they kind of have a little bit of that attitude going right now where we have all the teams and we have all the inventory. If you don't like what we want to do, we'll take our ball and go home.
Yeah. All right, let's start Friday randoms. We're bringing that back. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar talk. And when my wife comments about sports, it's bad. I have her latest hot take coming up. It is 3:56 on The Fan. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice, juicy little Friday. I'm solo today. Big Sook's out. I'll be back on Monday. I think I'm rocking you. I feel it.
What?
That's right.
Are you saying that because you saw you were tagged on Twitter?
Rocking you on a Friday. Why did I say that?
Yeah, I did see that. And I thought, you know what? I am rocking them.
That's right.
Rocking you real hard. So coming up, we're going to kick off Friday Randoms. We're going to bring that back because why not? It's that time of year.
I love random.
Yeah. Well, here's something that's random that can start it off. That Steph Curry photo you just sent me,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
So we've got a viral photo of Steph Curry who rolled his ankle last night, but they're saying, if you're wondering...
And this was from 2 games ago. This was the one where they beat... I don't know.
Beat somebody.
They beat somebody good after losing by 50. They won by like 30.
Well, last night he got hurt, and if you're looking for an update on that, they say he's not going to be out that long.
No, negative MRI results.
So, it's Curry hits a big 3, and one of the photographers captured him practicing his golf swing right after the other team called a timeout, which is great in and of itself because he's a big golfer.
Loves it.
I love it watching people practice their golf swings.
Did you see
With
Bo Nix did that this season after
Did
he
he?
did a little pooch punt? They had him out there on like a 4th and long, and then he kicked it and he put it inside like the 5 or the 10, and he did a little chip shot.
Did he?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Women probably hate it whenever we're doing that. Like looking in the mirror with no club.
Well,
just-
people have been taking the Steph Curry and like cutting it out and putting it in other places, or around the house, at the grocery store. It's like men everywhere understand.
Yeah, totally. It's like you're announcing that you're a part of the club. When
That's
I
right.
see you doing that, I
Little
give you a
golf junkie.
wink. I'm like, hey, left arm's looking a little wingy there. I'm going to tuck that in. Anyway, behind Curry in this photo is a smoking hot with big jugs. And it's the part, you've probably seen this going viral. It's so she's in the second row, and the dad of 2, I don't know how old are those boys.
They're probably like 10 or something.
8 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, right in that range.
They're sitting there with him.
Prepubescent.
Yeah, they're sitting there with him on the front row, and the kids are oblivious. They're just watching Curry.
Well, and they're looking at Dad too. Like, what's Dad looking at?
But the dad is looking back right at these 2 giant basketballs staring him in the face because she's going crazy because Curry just hit that shot. It's a great photo, man. You got to look it up. That's good stuff. And I guess now, of course, internet has found out who the woman is.
It's like, who's the girl? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess she's a call girl or something.
Yeah, the New York Post put out a piece that she's a $900 an hour escort.
Okay.
So
I have no. So when you add that little qualifier like $900 an hour, I have no I have no frame of reference for that. Is
like
that,
whether that's expensive or not.
Well, I would imagine that's expensive.
I would think so too.
But I don't really know that, and I don't know why they put that in there.
Yeah.
Like, why do you gotta
also,
put that?
is that like for her to go to the basketball game with you, or for her to do stuff to you?
Now was she working? She was with the John.
She tweeted, and we can find her Twitter
Maybe
account.
she was with that guy.
So she tweeted. I don't think she was with that guy. She might have been with a guy though, because she tweeted something about it being the best date she's had in a while, or something like that.
Date.
So was it a
Okay.
professional date
Well,
or?
my.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I'm not judging, but boy, those things. And that guy is great. That dad just turning around staring right at her. The 2 boys are like, what the hell? And Curry practicing his golf swing. You're right. A lot going on in that photo. Read an article on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar today. And no, I don't mean Kareem.
Not Kareem. Cream.
Cream. They call him Cream, like as in the band, like whipped cream. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's this 6'10", kind of chunky white guy for Indiana State, and he wears sports goggles, and he's good. And Indiana State is good, and you're going to see him and them take over March Madness. Well, actually, you're not. Caitlin Clark is probably going to take over March Madness. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you're going to hear all about him. A.K.A. Stephen Blurry.
I have not heard that one for him yet because of his specs. Okay.
Because of his specs, he can't
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
A.K.A. Larry Nerd.
All right, yeah. Well, that's even better because he's actually from Indiana State. So, like,
Yeah.
follows the direct lineage.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I guess he has a repertoire of spin moves, pump fakes, and sky hooks. Like he shoots the sky hook.
He has like old man YMCA game for
Yes,
sure.
That is so great. There was a feature on him in the Wall Street Journal, and his dad was talking about. His dad was his coach from a very young age. His dad was talking about it, and he's like, "Look, man, he's never been that athletic. He's had to figure out how to beat athletic guys." And he said his whole life was about fundamentals. You do the fundamentals right, you can beat the more athletic guy. So, Americans everywhere are going to fall in love with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If they do anything in the tournament, watch out. And his goggles, they're great. I mean, they look kind of ill-fitting, but his dad said he kept breaking all of his expensive glasses, so his dad made him wear those goggles. They're like swim goggles.
Okay, well, I love a good origin story. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, saving a buck or two,
Sure.
So he's probably, that, and it's probably the smartest move they ever made, putting him in those goggles, because NIL. That dude's going to cash in on that.
Oh, yeah. Put him in
his
like
look.
lens crafters or something like that.
I mean, that's part of why or just gets us, I don't know, who makes like rec specs? Who makes sports goggles?
Is that still a thing? Or maybe he gets some Oakley money or something like that?
Right. But it's part of his look that makes him stand out. Smart. He'll get a bunch of NIL money. Another article that was in the Wall Street Journal today, which this blew my mind, and I don't know why, but it did. Did you know that Paul Giamatti, who may win Best Actor on Sunday, the Oscars are coming.
I watched that movie. I really liked it, The Holdovers.
Yeah, he's nominated for Best Actor for that film. Did you know that that's Bart Giamatti's son?
Who's Bart Giamatti? Should I know who that is?
He's the ex-Major League Baseball commissioner.
Oh.
Bart
okay,
Giamatti.
that's why I know that name.
You don't remember Bart Giamatti? He's the Pete Rose guy. He's the guy that banned Pete Rose.
That's right. Well, yeah, we read his name just the other day. I did not realize those two were related.
Dude, that's his kid.
Can't you see Giamatti playing the commissioner of baseball in an old-timey type movie? Like if it was like the 8 Men Out era, Giamatti would play commissioner.
Yeah, I could see it.
That's crazy though.
Yeah, I guess Bart Giamatti was a big baseball fan, but he was more of I guess he was like an English professor or something. I don't know. He was more of an academic type. And they were also big into theater. That's why Paul, became an actor. But Bart Giamatti's son is Paul Giamatti. Had no idea. I'm guessing most people in the audience are like, yeah, Rob, duh. I had no idea.
No, I had no idea either.
And they have this. I mean, there's not a lot of Giamattis out there, but damn, never thought about it. And also in Friday Randoms, I have to tell you about Nurse Nice. She doesn't often comment about sports, but every once in a while she will. And when she does, pay attention because she's passionate about it.
I'm excited about this.
Well, I was watching the NBA the other day, and she was sitting next to me and reading or whatever, but she always... Does your wife do this where she listens and reads at the same time, or watches a show and reads at the same time?
Not really.
And
no, if she wants to do that, she'll go in the other room where it's quiet. She doesn't want to hear my garbage going on.
See, my wife will pretend... Well, first of all, she will always defer to me on the remote, which is very sexist, gender role-y in my house. She's always like, "Oh, you can watch whatever." I'm like, "Wait, you're not watching anything?" She's like, "No, I'm reading." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but when you read, you also watch." "No, I'm not watching anything." Okay, so then I start watching something, and then while she's reading, she's commenting on what I'm watching. I'm like, "Well, you are watching." She can do two things. It's just...
It's like you're keeping an ear out for.
Yeah.
But to me, it ruins both things.
Yeah, right.
So I don't do that, and my wife doesn't prefer it either.
Well, it's like when you're scrolling through your phone and you're kind of watching TV. You got something on the back. She's got that. Well, anyway, she was watching, and she was like, "Oh my God!" I forget what game I was watching. I think it was Dallas playing. Who just beat Dallas? Sixers the other day.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "What?" She goes, "How old is that guy?" You know who she was talking about?
Embiid?
Hubie Brown.
Oh, yeah. He kind of looks like death.
She was like, "Oh my God."
He's got a very skeleton, at the risk of sounding Awful. He has a corpsey thing going on.
Dude.
He just looks old as hell.
She goes, how old is that guy? He sounds so old. And then she saw him. She was like, ah!
Yeah.
And I said, oh, he's probably, I know he is old. You're right.
She's not wrong.
He's probably 84. Do you know how old Hubie Brown is, dude?
Is he 90?
He's 90.
Oh, my God. That was just a shot in the dark. I didn't, man.
He's 90, and he's calling games. And quite frankly, he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good.
He sounds like an old man, but he's got his wits about him. He's not.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you would hear like from a Lee Corso or other people who have lost it too early or too late.
So would he be the oldest active sportsman?
Would have to be,
and perhaps the oldest active sportsman ever. Now I'm talking about anybody that's active in sports.
Well, there have to be some. Do we think there have been golfers who have teed it up past 90?
In professional, well, okay.
Senior golfers?
You're saying just out on...
No. I mean, but here's the thing. An athletic achievement...
Not professionally.
But you're also calling him a sportsman where he's just talking into a microphone.
Yeah, but
Could you do this when you're 90?
He's in professional sports.
No, I know he's in professional sports, but he's not playing sports.
Right.
It's still impressive that it's old, but it's not like old and... It's not like, playing golf at 90.
Okay, but you get what I'm saying. You call it whatever you want. Who is the oldest person...
Working in sports?
Working in sports. It's got to be Hubie Brown.
Probably is.
It's got to be. And he might have the all-time record. Is there like a 103-year-old agent somewhere?
There's probably like a statistician for some, who like sits there at the scorer's table.
Yeah. But that's probably pretty hard when you're 90.
Yeah.
So anyway, my wife is just floored that Hubie Brown is actually calling games.
And
I'm like,
rightfully
babe,
so.
I know. I'm like, why would you be working at 90? Well, he obviously wants to do it, which, okay. And he doesn't sound bad, but...
The comments on YouTube say the name you're looking for is Joe Biden.
Well, he's what, 80...
88, I think?
No.
No.
Biden's not 88. He's
82?
like 81. He's like 10... He needs 10 more years to beat Hubie Brown. This is what I'm saying. Like, we kind of lump all the olds...
81, you're right.
We lump all the olds together. And we shouldn't. 90 is different. I mean, I just read a story the other day that Dick Vitale wants to come back. Did you read that?
I did not.
Dick Vitale had throat cancer, and he's had it multiple times, and he just had surgery. Throat! He speaks for a living. He's had throat cancer, and he wants to do another game. He's 84.
Dang, Vin Scully got close, 88.
Yeah, he came to mind, but yeah, no, he didn't make it to 90.
Not 90.
That's good, though. Jerry Jones is old, but he's not 90. I bet you if Jerry holds on, he might get to 90, because isn't he like in charge of everything still over there in Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, basically,
he's
yeah.
the owner.
Yeah. I mean, he's still calling many a shot.
But I think he's like GM too.
I'm looking for other lists here, or looking through lists to find.
Dude, it's unbelievable. He still sounds as good as he does at 90, Hubie. But I tell you what, Nurse Nice, she ain't having it.
She wants to put out to pasture?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, she doesn't want him on there.
Get him out of here. Get him a pudding cup.
Get him out of here. Wait till I show her Lee Corso.
Oh, it's like I get sad about Lee Corso.
Don't get sad about Lee Corso. He had a stroke. It's not his fault.
Well, I feel, yeah, it's weird. It's like seeing an animal, its quality of life is suffering, but doesn't realize it. I don't know. It's not good.
All right. Friday Randoms continues next. Has a sports result ever been taken to court? Well, it has now. It's 4:16 on the Fan. Oh, hey, I'm going to stick around here for Window Nation. My buddies at Window Nation. Steph Curry photo that went viral of him practicing his golf swing after hitting a shot. Her name is Catherine Taylor. And TMZ, of course, caught up with her. And they're calling her a luxury girlfriend.
Oh, so she's a hot that you pay to go out with you in public?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes, but I think we all know what that means.
Well, so is there also stuff behind closed doors?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing for a certain price.
So are we just making up a new name for high-end?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I view this,
Okay.
but, I could
I didn't
be
know
wrong.
if she was doing something slightly different than that.
No, I
high-end
don't know.
escorting.
I mean,
Okay.
come on. But anyway, Catherine Taylor, it says here, caught the eye of many NBA fans after she was spotted cheering on the action during Wednesday's matchup between Golden State and Milwaukee, largely in part thanks to her wardrobe choice, where she's got a little half top on that's basically not on. So then it says she has since had so many luxury girlfriend inquiries that she has had to raise her rate from $900 an hour to $1,500.
Good for her. Make that money.
An hour. And she's not even a Dubs fan. She's a Kings fan.
Wow.
What?
So she said she has not just had potential customers hitting her up. She said that there are several professional athletes
Oh, you don't say.
who have slid into her DMs.
Yep.
But she would not name names.
I wonder what it was at before, but I see her Twitter following's up to 51,000 people. So she's
Her what now?
Her Twitter following, her follower count
Is what now?
51,000. Seems
Yeah.
like a lot. I bet it was not that high a couple days ago.
Man, the art of going viral.
Yeah.
Right there.
And in a business that she's in, quite lucrative.
Now, I would imagine you... Now, she did that on purpose, or that's just a luck thing?
Oh no, I think that
She knew what she was doing there?
no. I don't think she knew she was going to go viral. I mean, I think that she knew that she brought the basketballs out and that she was having a good time. But I think that she wasn't expecting this to go viral. Once it did, she just thought opportunity, lean in, and she did.
Have you seen the new Nike ad that they've made from that photo?
Is she in it?
Yeah.
No, what does it say?
Why wouldn't she be in it?
I don't know. Because it doesn't seem maybe like Nike's thing.
It's just well, it's just a screen grab of her and her jugs, and the guy turned around looking at her as she's screaming for Curry or whatever, and then the two boys sitting there dumbfounded, like, what the hell's going on? And it says, and it's got the Nike swoosh, and it says, because some things are bigger than sports.
Yes, well done. That's very good.
Now, of course, that is not an actual Nike ad.
No, but it has the Nike feel. It sounds like it could have been written by one of their ad people. Yeah.
It's just someone being cheeky.
Yeah.
Rocking us on a Friday. Okay, last story here on randoms before we get to In the News. And by the way, In the News, have you seen, we got another issue with Boeing today.
I saw something about this. I haven't read into it. It's getting exhausting.
It is, but
it's also kind of scary.
You fly, right?
Yeah.
You might want to pay attention.
Yeah.
But I hear you. Boeing's had a bad week. We'll
I'm
get to
very
that
confident.
Yeah. Has a sports result ever been taken to court? I don't know if this is the first, but did you see this New Jersey high school basketball championship game?
So I'm guessing I did. Is this the one where he very clearly got the buzzer beater off in time? So I saw that highlight, and I saw people complaining that the basket was waved off. I knew nothing about the litigious followings.
Yeah, so it was, oh boy, how am I going to pronounce this? Manasquan High School.
Sure.
Manasquan? I don't know. And they hit the game-winning buzzer beater against Camden. This was on Tuesday in the state semis.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy got a rebound, and he put it back for the game winner. The crowd goes crazy, but the refs waved it off. Now, it's the video of it is very clear because the scoreboard is right in.
The video is taken from the baseline, so you can see the red light up box around the score. The
he clearly got that shot off.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even close. He made that buzzer beater. It should have counted. Well, they didn't count it, and they have now sued. They are putting this into court.
See, this is where it's different because I know we have it on video, but this has happened in high school sports for years, and it's just part of playing high school sports is that this happens.
I get that you're right. At the same time, I kind of respect this action here because they're saying, so they have filed a lawsuit in an effort to put Saturday's Group 2 championship game against Arts on hold. So all they want to do is they want a court to come in and go, wait a minute, don't play the championship game.
Because that was a semifinal?
That was a semi, right?
Okay.
And so they're saying we should be in the final, put that game on hold, and we are going to do everything we can to try to get that result overturned.
I don't mind that.
And honestly, they may be able to do it.
I thought what you were saying was that, like, this was the result, and they're just kind of like suing over sour grapes. But if this is like the chance to play for the championship because the call was wrong, I'm with that.
They are seeking injunctive relief.
There you go. Okay.
From New Jersey Superior Court Judge Mark Tronconi, who could set a hearing as soon as Thursday.
Boy, he sounds like a legal bulldog.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Tronconi.
What would you do if you're the other team?
I think, unfortunately, you have to roll with it. I mean, if I'm the coach of the other team, I might roll my eyes a little bit like, okay, well, what if you didn't have that camera angle? I'd be in the this just happens camp. But at the same time, the evidence is there. The other team clearly won. Don't you have to say, if we're taking the right call into account, then yeah, it should be them?
Yeah, would it go over well?
Oh, there's no way everyone on that side or either side is happy about this. There's going to be some upset parent that either we didn't take enough accountability giving it up, or how dare you take that from these kids?
Well, would it go over well if the other team allows the team that actually won to just show up and play the game? Like, could you do that?
Unless the league or state feels like they have to officially forfeit because the right team isn't there. Like, if somebody says I have to follow the letter of the law, then, or the letter of the rules at least, then you could see it not counting for anybody, which would stink. But I think that would be a nice public showing. And if they did that and everyone was backing them, kind of hard to be the people that say, no, we're not going to allow that.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. It says, we're asking Judge Tronconi to put the brakes on this game on Saturday pending judicial review of what happened. What we're trying to do is put the brakes on the game pending on who should be the right team to be in that game and declare us the winner. We will argue that the NJSIAA's rules would require them to use the videotape to get the result right. See, that's what I'm talking about. That makes total sense to me. And I don't understand why they don't have reviews on the sidelines of high school games?
No. I mean, I think basically,
I guess you probably don't, do you?
To be able to have it fair everywhere, like you'd have to have cameras everywhere across the league, and then there'd have to be an official way of doing it. You'd have to have an official replay review person. Like, it's just not realistic within the infrastructure of high school sports. But in this one case, we do have a video that clearly proves what happened.
Yeah, it said the high school association said the official who said he thought the ball was still in the kid's hands at the time, as time expired, agreed after seeing the video that the basket should have counted, but their bylaws do not allow for video review. So the refs, they never huddled to discuss it, and that's how it ended.
That's
very interesting.
We used to see this in baseball before replay, like a manager would go out there and scream at an umpire, and then sometimes they'd be like, well, yeah, actually, I think I got it wrong, but there's nothing I can do now. Like,
yeah, that's true.
What do you want?
Yeah.
And so
Earl Weaver would kick dirt on him.
Because there's no camera setup, because there is no review, even if they decide, like, if the other refs didn't see it clearly, this guy could be like, I might have got it wrong, but, like, you can't just go back and say, I think I got it wrong.
Well, I find it quite fascinating that they're taking this to court.
And I also don't want to be the society that sues over every freaking thing. And I know we're already well down that road.
But they're right. And
okay.
if you have a case in court and the game's not till next Saturday.
But if this happens, 10 or 20 years ago, this is just a life lesson being handed out. It's a bummer for the team it happens to, and life isn't always fair. But now it's like we need to sue someone until we get what we want. or what we deserve. And you know what? It is what you deserve. But sometimes stuff sucks, and sometimes the fair thing doesn't happen. That's how it works.
I knew that opinion was coming. I see what you're saying.
And I'm not saying that's the right one. I think those kids, the kids who are getting held out of the championship, they should get to play for the championship. But they got hosed, and sometimes you get hosed.
Yeah, but if you have the technology
to
to prevent from being hosed, use it.
I would agree with that.
They're saying we can use it.
Right. And so in this case, I would say go for it.
But they're doing it in a way that many people didn't think was possible, but I guess it is. So we'll see.
I mean, honestly, I think it's just too bad we have to go to court. Why doesn't everyone just get in a room and say, we see the video? Let's just do the obviously right thing here.
Why can't the New Jersey High School Association?
Why can't them and the coaches just be like, this
down,
is the right team to go as that?
They bring them all in. They look at the tape. This is clearly who won the game, and we'd like to change the. I mean, I don't know. Come on, can't be that hard. It's all right there on video.
Yep.
In the news is next. It's a rough week for Boeing. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with the Sports Center update. First on the Fan and the Association. The Blazers on Game 2 of a 6-game homestand tonight when they welcome the Houston Rockets. Jeremy Grant, Tumani Kamara, and Jabari Walker all considered questionable. DeAndre Ayton and Scoot Henderson are doubtful. Tip-off from Modas at 7 o'clock. The Blazers are 5.5-point underdogs. On the college hardwood, the 13th-ranked Oregon State women in the Pac-12 tournament semifinals tonight against number 2-ranked Stanford. That one tipping off in Vegas at 5 o'clock. And reports out of Seattle today that Washington men's basketball coach Mike Hopkins is done at UW and will not return next season. In the NFL, it was previously reported that Russell Wilson would meet with the Steelers about taking the reins in Pittsburgh. It's now also being reported that Wilson took a meeting with the New York Giants on Thursday. It's unclear whether New York is ready to move on from Daniel Jones at this point. And in local baseball news, the Oregon legislature has approved a final $15 million to fully fund a new baseball stadium in Hillsborough. Construction is expected to break ground this summer and be completed before the 2026 season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch, and now
It's never occurred to me, but Deal brings it up on the Vancouver Ford text line that New Jersey, that is a state that is a sports gambling institution. As you well know, outside of Nevada.
I'm pretty sure they lead all U.S. states every month with total money spent on gambling.
Well, I think do they beat Nevada?
Besides Nevada, where all the casinos are. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you take Nevada out, there is no state that is more of an institution for sports gambling than New Jersey. And you got the mob ties. And Deal also points out that, you remember that high school game we talked about where the refs inched the ball forward for a first down in the high school game?
Not really.
Right on camera. He just basically moves it a yard up.
I mean, I feel like I've seen that in college too.
Also, New Jersey.
So
the fix is in. It is, or maybe, March 8th, 2024. It's time now for In the News. I'm your newsman. Hello. Thanks, ladies. My fellow Americans. Did you watch the, we call that the State of the Union last night?
I did not, but I saw the big viral moment of Biden reacting to seeing your girl Marge.
Yes, was that great?
That was wonderful.
What?
Well, now the internet's having a lot of fun with that, and they're putting that reaction side by side to other things like Sydney Sweeney from SNL and the woman in the Curry photograph, etc., etc.
Well, I just want these people who do these things on internet to never get a job because their content that they put out is just great.
Now, as I've heard it said before, the internet is a wonderful place for creative people with plenty of time on their hands.
Yes. But that video is hilarious. Biden's going around shaking hands, and the chamber.
She's
there.
to the nines wearing MAGA stuff.
Yeah, she's all decked out in her MAGA. She's an idiot. And she comes up to him, and he looks at her, and somebody captures there's a video of his reaction when he sees her. And then her reaction is even more hilarious because she clearly sees that he does not take her seriously and is laughing at her, which he should. And he should not take her seriously, and then she's pissed off about it.
Yeah, it's
so good.
It wasn't the desired effect that she wanted.
I bet you Biden in his day, I bet you he was fun to party with.
You know what? He looks like a guy who just saw a college buddy who used to get drunk with 15 years ago. It's like, oh, look, it's you again. You still wear that stuff, huh?
Good times. What was I saying to you? Oh, it's Middle Name Pride Day.
Oh.
I love my middle name. My middle name is Everett, as you know, the Honorable I Everett Robb. What is your middle name?
Middle name is Patrick.
Oh, that's right. Boring.
Yeah, kind of.
Sooks is, I should know this, isn't it?
I don't actually know Sooks. I don't think.
Steven? Steve?
I bet the text line will know.
Yeah, they'll tell us. It is also International Women's Day.
Oh, today's the day, huh? I knew it was International Women's. I knew it was Women's Month.
Love you, ladies out there.
Yeah, we do.
Keep doing your thing. Rough week for Boeing. I don't even know where to start with this. So Monday, they had a plane where the engine caught fire mid-flight. Tuesday, they had a plane lose a tire after taking off. And then today, they had a plane roll off the runway after landing. I think
they just didn't hit the brake or what?
Well, I think that was in Houston. Yeah, it says United Airlines flight skids off of Houston Airport runway after landing.
So they either landed late or they just never stopped it?
No injuries reported.
It's positive.
It rolled onto the grass where... Yeah, it says it rolled onto the grass when existing... Oh my God. Can I read? That's the question.
Let's find out.
It rolled onto the grass when exiting onto the taxiway around 8 a.m. local time, Friday, March 8th.
So it was taxiing? Just drunk driver?
It had just landed.
Tired pilot?
Had 160 passengers.
Just kind of veers off the road?
And 6 crew. Yeah, I don't know. It says we are removing luggage from the aircraft and will work to reunite customers with their belongings as quickly as possible. I mean, it's one of those stories. There's just not
enough information yet.
There's no information, but it is definitely on the grass over there, and one wing touching the ground. I don't know. That's weird. The tire that fell off, that was a United flight. It was in San Francisco, taken off to go to Japan, and then the tire lands on some dude's car in the parking lot.
Nice.
And then you have the passenger video of the flames shooting out of a United Airlines engine mid-flight.
Mm-hmm.
God, this one was in Houston as well. It had taken off in Houston, and they said it was a compressor stall, but that's terrifying.
Ah, the compressor stall, sure.
Yeah, and all these are different types of airplanes, like 737s. I mean,
I think what we're learning is all flying is dangerous, and we probably shouldn't do it.
Well, Boeing, I mean, so now comes this story. Federal safety officials say Boeing is failing to meet quality control standards during manufacturing. This was the report that they put out. They did an audit of the 737 MAX manufacturing at Boeing. And it says its key supplier turned up multiple instances of them failing to make sure manufacturing met quality standards. The FAA said that it found non-compliance issues with Boeing's manufacturing process control and parts handling and storage. It did not provide details. Yeah, so now the story is that they have not handed over key documents in the probe into the door plug.
Oh, baby, we got a cover-up.
Yeah.
Vancouver Report text line also saying that Alaska had a cargo door open on a flight in Portland.
I forgot about that. That was yesterday. They were coming from Mexico. It's an Alaska flight.
Happening.
It lands at PDX, and there's video of it. It shows that the door it's the underneath cargo door, was not latched properly, and you can kind of see into the underneath cargo bin area, and I guess a bunch of people's pets were in there.
Oh.
Yeah, but I guess they said...
Boy, you want to get people real upset.
Totally.
Kill their pets on a flight and see what happens.
Yeah, some guy gets sucked out of a door plug. Nah. Kill my dog?
Oh, yeah. Class action,
I'm coming for you. But, yeah, they said all the pets were fine.
Well, that's good.
But ABC News reporting Boeing has not fully cooperated with the NTSB's investigation into the Alaska Airlines door plug incident. The chair, Jennifer Homendy, said during a Senate hearing, Boeing has not provided us with documents and information that we have requested numerous times over the past few months, specifically with respect to opening, closing, and removal of the door, and the team that does work at the Renton, Washington facility. My God. This is getting nuts, guys.
There's literally something new every day.
Meanwhile, I just booked a flight yesterday.
Oh, actually, I think we did too.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Coming up next, ban the blowers. Oh, and this would be why we can't have nice things. It is 4:44. This is In the News on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Pacers have a chance. Up ahead, Neesmith. Blocked! Edwards getting up, and good night!
Yeah, is that the play where Anthony Edwards hit his head on the rim?
Yeah, saved the game, blocked the shot, hit his head on the rim and backboard. Dude's a freak.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I gotta say, don't you think a lot of guys would hit their head on the rim if they went up for that block? I mean, it's not just him.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, most of those guys are.
But when you see it like at that speed, the way he kind of clotheslines himself, it was a lot.
He's awesome. The Fan's Window into Sports brought to you by Window Nation. Buy 2 windows right now, get 2 free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years at windownation.com.
The
baby. Big Friday show. Joey Harrington next hour. Soup's out. He'll be back Monday. He's partying. I think they're on the coast, or maybe in Eastern Oregon. We don't know where they are, but he's with Dusty, and he said that there's a bunch of ex-football bros with him.
That's right, a bunch of lineman dudes.
Yeah, like...
Max Unger is among them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe Nick Reed is among them.
He mentioned a couple of other former Ducks whose names I can't remember, but they're all out there being all high tea together.
Drinking a bunch of beer, eating a bunch of crab.
Yeah, I think when offensive linemen get together, I think it's a must that they have to drink like 30 beers each, you know?
It's just kind of the lineman code.
It's just what they do. I remember Scott Gehring, who was our center in high school, Salinas Central, under the tutelage of the great Marvin Diener.
Ooh, the Dean.
Won a couple championships. We were a hell of a team. Scott Gehring was our center. I remember going out with him one night. He drank 35 beers.
In high school?
Yeah.
That seems like too many.
Like Natty Lights.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, that seems like too many. It's because it was.
Yeah, 35. They don't even make 35 in a pack.
Yeah, I know. Scott Gehring was a different animal. I hope he's still alive. He's a nice guy,
not if
too.
he was drinking like that, he's not.
All right, this is in the news, March 8, 2024. Can you believe that? 2024. Leaf blower news. Now, as you know, I am a big believer in noise pollution.
Yeah, isn't this like number 3 on your platform?
Well,
very close to the top, I believe.
It's not noise pollution as much as it's one of the key contributors to noise pollution, and that is loud cars and trucks and motorcycles. I find that obnoxious and absurd. And I don't really know why guys do that, short of their car being a piece of crap. But I see some of these cars drive by my house in my neighborhood, and, they're, it's so freaking loud. And then I look at the car, and it's a piece of crap, but then I see all this... I see these giant tailpipes that they put on it, and they're doing it on purpose.
Oh, of course they're doing it on purpose.
Well, but sometimes it's just crappy cars.
Sometimes a car just sounds bad, but I would say, 9 times out of 10 when it's that loud and obnoxious, it's because they wanted it to be that way.
It just drives me insane. And I think it's so douchey, and if you are listening and you have one of these cars, I hate you. I do. I think you are such a douchebag.
Dude, he's such an effing loser.
Exactly. Well, so to me, when you live in the city, it's just going to be loud.
Yeah,
okay,
expect it.
It is. Yeah. So I'm not too over my skis about it, but I am with the cars. I get that some things are loud. Like the big truck that comes by, the big garbage truck or the bus or the guy with all the lawn equipment and stuff. I get it. Those are loud. Those are big trucks. They're moving a lot of equipment. Whatever. It's loud. I get that. It's just the obnoxious little car that drives me crazy. But you also have leaf blowers. That's a big thing in terms of noise ordinances. The Portland City Council is going to consider a new ordinance that would ban the use of gas-powered leaf blowers by 2026. If passed, the proposed ordinance would outlaw the private and commercial use of all gas-powered leaf blowers in the city. They would still be permitted during the fall and early winter through 2028, as the latest electric leaf blower technology remains inadequate for removing wet leaves. That doesn't seem very... I don't know. That seems very Portlandy. But... and I know this is not all about noise, but because I have one of those electric ones.
So I do too. I was thinking, how many people even still have the gas ones?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's mostly just the commercial outfits.
Yeah, and so but I'm also thinking, so does that really even do much to put a dent in our problem? I'm not sure. We might be barking up the wrong tree here.
Well, like I said, it's not just about noise.
Yeah.
But I only view it through noise because that's a big trigger for me. I just like quiet, man. I'm a loser that way.
You just gotta keep living, man.
But the leaf blower,
Livin.
the leaf blower noise is kind of annoying if it's early in the morning. I always, do you ever when you want to use yours, do you wait until say after 9 a.m.? Because it's usually on a Saturday or Sunday, right?
Yeah, chances are. I kind of don't get the people who are doing it first thing, because if I'm doing it after some yard cleanup. I wouldn't be doing it that early anyways. But Yeah, I guess if I were, I would try to consider it first.
See, sometimes I'm out there. I'm a grinder, as you know, Buckley.
Yeah, well, and you wake up early.
I wake up early and I go out and I putt if it's nice,
Oh, well, and you got to
So
get
I'm
the
out there
leaves off the
putting.
green.
Exactly.
So that's a little different. If I had a surface I needed to get clean, then yeah.
I got to clean my green, but then I don't want to wake up the neighbors, and what do I do? So I usually wait. Citizens found in violation of the ordinance would face a series of penalties for each offense. First-time offenders would receive a warning. Second fine would be $250. And a third offense would rise to $500. Fourth costing them $1,000.
Don't do it.
So they are citing air pollution, gas leaf blowers, air pollution, creating excessive noise, and causing other negative health impacts to their operators, who disproportionately identify as Latinx or Hispanic.
Okay.
So that's what they're saying about that. I'm all for it. Get rid of them.
That's fine.
And finally, a Multnomah County judge has placed the city council's current ban on daytime camping on hold.
Oh.
Yes, the leaders of Portland may have to scrap the city's daytime camping ban and replace it with new restrictions that are more accommodating to people experiencing homelessness.
Can I just say I'm so tired of the adjustments to all of this. Like everything. It's not even a half measure. It's like a 10th measure.
Yep.
Like we're not
Yep.
doing anything. We're just like
Yep.
we're like the toddler who won't eat his veggies, just pushing them around the plate.
Yep.
Like we won't actually do anything. Let's just move some stuff and hope it looks different.
Preach, brother. It's all. I mean, it's the tail wagging the dog, man. You try to.
But then people clamor that something has to be done, so the bureaucrats are like, well, I guess we'll try to do something, and then something is nothing, and here we are. You
try to pass something, and then a special interest group brings up a couple of points that are like, well, you haven't thought about this, and this is, you should do this, and then they cower and they backtrack. It's just ridiculous. But Portland officials learned yesterday that the Oregon Supreme Court would not weigh in on the injunction, which has already been placed. So the city has asked the High Court to require the judge to expand on her basis for determining the ban had a sufficient likelihood of being declared unconstitutional. The judge issued the ruling in just a single sentence. While we had hoped to get some guidance from a court in the form of an opinion on the city's time, place, and manner regulations, the city now must move forward without a judicial opinion. So they have to tweak the ordinance.
God. Yeah, just do something.
How much would I have to pay you to be mayor of Portland?
God.
You would have to pay me an astronomical sum to get in there and mix it up with all these people.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I mean, I kind of feel for Wheeler.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy job
he's a reasonable
by any stretch.
guy.
And it's not. It seems like getting anything reasonable done has become unreasonable or hard to do.
So if I put you in there, I'm going to make you mayor. And remember, we have a new system coming. I think 12 city council members now?
I don't know.
And then the mayor oversees it. Yeah, they're changing the whole system. But let's say current system, because it's weird. Nobody else does it this way. I'm going to make you the mayor. And I am going to make you a billionaire if you can solve the homeless problem. If you don't, I'm going to whack you.
I'm a billionaire if I solve it, rest of my life in prison if I don't.
Are you up for the task?
No.
You think you can get it done?
No. I don't. Not with the way it takes anything to get done right now, no.
You and I have no chance.
None. I'm not sure any.
I don't know who does.
I don't want to be huge downer here, but who does?
Swigard?
That's it. Swag's a man for the job. I think we figured it out.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Man, this is why reasonably smart, rational people don't want any part of politics. Right there.
Because it's a headache and nothing gets done.
And
everyone's mad.
They're all cuckoo.
Yeah.
They're all in it for their own interests. All right, that's in the news. March 8th, 2024. Hot 5 at 5 is next. We've got the boys high school basketball semis. Get you updated on that. Looks like a Pac-12 basketball coaching change. And some football news when we return on The Fan.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this, big, happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Let's Save Lives. An Introduction to Suicide Prevention is an education program designed by and for the Black community. To learn more, go to afsp.org/chapters. AFSP is an I'm Listening partner. Learn more at imlistening.org and on the Odyssey app.
Welcome back. It's me, Rop.
Rocking you on a Friday. Why did I say that?
Rocking you on a Friday. Big Sook is out. He'll be back Monday. We've got Buckley over there. We're partying.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go. Joey Harrington will be joining us at 5:30 for story time. Tonight in the club, we will talk music, what the music you like says about you, and we have the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. And this is according to science. I'd also like to give you an update on America's favorite mutt, Molly Two Poops.
Yes, this has been asked a couple times now on the Vancouver Ford text line.
I have an update for you, and it involves poop.
Think
you're gonna like it. So that'll be 6 to 7. Man, do we dive into the hot five right away?
I mean, we could. So we should.
Boy.
Hot topics,
think we
hot
should.
opinions,
Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
and hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorricos.com. Number 5.
Whoa. Blazers continue their homestand tonight. I don't have much on this. I think they're playing Houston.
That's right. They're playing the Houston Rockets.
Who's playing? I mean, who's hurt? Who's not playing?
I can pull that up right now, but I know that questionable tonight was Kamara, Jabari Walker, and Jeremy Grant. Ayton and Scoot are both doubtful. Let me see if there's been an update on that. But yeah, I mean, and then plus Sharp's still out, Brogdon's still out, and there's one. Basically, they're still very shorthanded.
Okay. Warriors say Steph Curry won't be out long. He rolled his ankle last night. Missed a few games. And the Mariners made a signing today. They nice little signing. Very Mariner-y signing. They signed free agent reliever Ryan Stanek. He's 32 years old, but he's been real solid out of the Astros bullpen for the last 3 seasons.
Got some flowing blonde locks, that guy?
Yeah, that's a good little signing. I didn't know he was
a quality arm out of the pen.
Free agent. Just sitting out there. Mariners got him.
Number 4.
The Hillsboro Hops are staying after all.
Yeah, this is nice news.
Fully funded for a new ballpark after the Oregon legislature approved the final $15 million last night. So they'll pair that with $82 million in private money, $18 million from the city of Hillsboro, and $8 million from Washington County. They'll break ground on the new park this summer and hope to be complete by 2026. We've got the high school basketball semifinals on the boys' side this afternoon. Top seed Central Catholic takes out Tualatin 73-67. The Rams are in the final against 3 seed Roosevelt, who hammered Beaverton. Your Beaverton
Beavers?
Bison? I don't know.
I think they're the Beaverton Beavers.
Oh, are they?
Although I believe my house puts me in the Southridge district. So, you know, it might be the rival Beaverton.
That's
Beavers.
convenient. They hammered them 73-45. Yikes. Should be a good final. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think. We'll ask Joey. He was there.
Yeah.
He was there today. Patriots come to terms with tight end Hunter Henry. 3-year deal, $30 million.
He was there previously, right? So he's just staying there?
Yeah, he was on pace to be their leading receiver last year, but then he had a knee injury. I still don't quite understand why teams are allowed to sign. I guess you can sign your own guys early?
Yeah, I think if it's your guy, yeah. But
is?
then the other thing is that, like, you know, in the case of like Russell Wilson, the Broncos told him you can go ahead and talk to other teams because we know we're getting rid of you. So I think in some cases that does happen as well. And plus, just because players and teams can't talk doesn't mean agents don't.
True. What was I going to tell you? Oh, the Steelers cut 2 players today, wide receiver Allen Robinson and cornerback Patrick Peterson. Russell Wilson, you mentioned him. He met with the Giants yesterday.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, and then he's meeting with Pittsburgh today. I actually believe Russell Wilson would help Pittsburgh. I think they're better with him than Pickett, albeit marginally, but I think better. But I think if he went to the Giants, that would be great for them.
There's speculation he may mate with the Raiders as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? I don't think that's as much.
Now that one, I don't know. Just because I think the Raiders just need to go draft a guy.
I would agree. They're not a quarterback away.
Washington men's basketball coach Mike Hopkins will not return next season. $3 million buyout. He had 1 year left on his deal. He will coach the team, however, in the Pac-12 tournament. The top 4 teams from the regular season are the final 4 left standing at the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament. Semifinal number 1 is just about to get underway. You've got number 2 Stanford against number 13 Oregon State in Vegas. The Cardinal won both meetings this season. Oregon State 1-42 all time against Stanford outside of Corvallis.
Is that bad?
That is bad. But there is hope. They have beaten them once in 43 tries.
All it takes is that one time.
Later tonight, it's number 7 UCLA, number 5 USC. They split their 2 meetings this season.
Come too far together to stop now. Let's do it.
That's it, baby. Shut it from the rooftops.
America's #1 fighting force.
Number one.
Number 1.
All right, number 1, college football is careening towards a 14-team playoff. And you may be going, well, wait a minute. I thought it was just 12. Well, it is going to be 12 this season and next season. But in 2026, it will be a 14-team playoff, most likely. According to Heather Dinich of ESPN, though, the idea of the SEC and the Big Ten receiving guaranteed buys is losing steam after public outcry. TCU coach Sonny Dykes says it best. Automatic buys for the SEC and the Big Ten is like the NFL saying the Cowboys get a first-round bye since they have more fans than the Bengals. The bigger story here, though, is that they are zeroing in on revenue distribution and a model for that. And as we know, the SEC and the Big Ten asking for more. How much more? We now have an idea. One of the models that they bandied about was the SEC and the Big Ten would split 58% of the college football playoff revenue. The ACC and the Big 12 would split 31% of it, and the rest would be split, and that's 11% amongst Notre Dame and the remaining group of 5 teams, which, as I mentioned earlier, that is exactly why Notre Dame will probably be joining the Big Ten before too long.
You would imagine.
So, yeah, there you go. On time, even, the Hot 5 at 5.
Look at us.
Look at us.
What are we going to do now? We have like a minute.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into our next thing. We can get Joey on time.
Say something crazy.
Ooh, something crazy. This is crazy. Western Illinois versus Arkansas Little Rock is on my TV in here.
You bet on it, didn't you?
No, it just kicked over from whatever the last thing was. I have no idea about anything about these two teams.
I can tell you that I ventured into, because you can't bet college games on DraftKings,
right,
in Oregon. So I opened a Bet Online account, and because I just wanted something to do, just dabble in college basketball betting.
Sure.
Because the other thing I like about sports betting is it just kind of it gets you into the sport a little bit more, right?
Yeah,
like
you end up paying
attention.
Slightly more attention to key players, stuff like that.
So I've been doing some NBA, which I find the NBA impossible because one night a team
shows up and one they don't.
Yeah, I mean, one night they're great, and the next night it's like they don't even want to be there.
It does feel wildly unpredictable from night to night.
I like college better. I watch college more.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not as good of a product, obviously. But it's I think it's a little bit more predictable. Although I'm having trouble with it because, man, the shooting variance.
God, it's bad.
It's just, it's really hard to predict, right? Like some teams, you know them as a good shooting team, and they will shoot 20% one night, or for a half. You just go ice cold, and then other nights they'll be red hot. All this to tell you that my college betting so far has not gone all that great. It's really hard to get it right, or just to be,
I mean, I think
consistent.
It's that way for all betting. If they're easy, everyone would make money doing it, and they don't. But
well, yeah, I'm not saying I got to be hammering out 75% winners.
No.
It's just it's a tough one because you look at a game. Kansas-Houston is a great example. They're playing again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But the first meeting, I was all over Houston. And look, I love my Jayhawks, but I love money more. And Houston was...
I think I do some of my best betting against my own teams because you know them so well.
I know the team. Yeah, I
right.
know Kansas.
I like to bet
and
on
look,
Oregon Ducks, on the Giants, on the Niners.
So Kansas Kansas hosts Houston. Houston's, at that time, I think the number 1 or number 2 team in the country. They're the number 1 defense in the country. Kansas has no ability to score without running their offense. Like, they don't have a bunch of guys like they used to that can create, right? They don't particularly shoot very well. I'm like, oh my God. I think that Houston was maybe a 1 or 2 point underdog. I'm like, dude, Houston is going to annihilate them because Kansas, I just don't think they're as good this year.
And they did, right?
No, Kansas beat them by like 15.
Oh, that's right.
Because they shot 70% against the number 1 team in the number 1 defensive team in the country. I'm like, where does that come from? They didn't do that all year. So that's college betting in a nutshell.
Somebody just smoked Houston, though, didn't they? Who beat Houston?
I don't know.
Or maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
So now the spread the second time around is Houston -10 tomorrow.
And you think that's too many?
I think the value was on Houston. See, I thought when I was watching that game, I'm like, dude, I'm on the right side of this. Houston. Well, lost the game. But then they play again, and the spread is 12 points different.
Yeah.
So I missed that. The value's gone. So now you got to pay a premium to bet Houston. And they'll probably kick the crap out of them, but I don't know. It's kind of fun, though. March Madness.
Right around the corner.
Yep. We're going to all bet on it. Hey, the Fan Madness presented by Warren Allen Attorneys at Law is at A&A Stadium Sports Bar again this year. We're going to be up there with live shows Thursday and Friday, March 21 and 22. So make sure you join us. All right, coming up next. Oh, we got Joey at 5:30. Coming up next, let's talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards.
I like him.
How could you not? And how much better would the Steelers or Giants be with Russell Wilson? The Hot 5 at 5 is brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. 5:15 on The Fan.
The best basketball party is back. Join Danny and Dusty and Isaac and
All right, Joey Harrington coming up next, Seggy. I think he was at the Central Catholic game today. We'll ask him. Yeah, I'm watching Anthony Edwards here. Minnesota leading Cleveland 34-27. Edwards out there again. Last night hit his head on the rim, blocking the shot to win the game. 44 points. Drawing comparisons to Michael Jordan. I don't know what you think, but I do hate to say this. I really do. But I think LeBron is the best player ever.
I think that's correct. I frankly don't think it's... I think what Michael did for a generation of basketball could be bigger than what LeBron has done, but as far as just a purely better sportsman in the game and all the things he's able to do, I just don't think Michael could do the things LeBron could do.
I love Jordan, but...
And he might be the greatest scorer ever. He might be the greatest killer ever, but...
I just think LeBron's the greatest basketball player we've ever seen. That's how I feel. But I tell you, not many guys get compared to Michael Jordan. And Anthony Edwards is drawing those comparisons. And it is kind of interesting. When you watch him play, he does look like Jordan some. He looks like he's got a little Kobe in his game. I mean, he hits his head on the rim. Now, a lot of people are making a lot out of that, but I feel like a lot of guys
do. I mean, I think that mostly happened because he was going so fast he wasn't able to control his body and his speed.
But, I mean, he said that's the highest he's ever jumped. And I think that's probably the highest I've ever seen somebody jump.
It was really impressive.
In my human life. Not in my AI life. It's different.
I don't know if you'll remember this. You had me pull a clip of his that we never played.
Anthony Edwards?
After they had played against Sacramento. I think he had a big game there.
Oh.
And he was talking about how he was going to make a lefty three. Do you remember this?
I don't.
Yeah.
Should we play it?
Sure.
Left-hand jumper.
Left-hand jumper?
Yeah, it's coming.
Corner three?
It's coming soon. You saw it, right? It's cash. I beat Mike. Y'all saw that this morning, right? I know you saw it.
It's on the record now. You see
Okay, yeah. So,
that was nice.
Yeah. A left-hand jumper is definitely coming. If we up in the fourth with 20 plus, and I know I'm about to come out of the game, I'm taking the left-hand tray ball. So it's coming. Be on the lookout for it. No, I mean I'm gonna come out anyway. You know what I mean? So I might as well go give him a reason to take me out.
By the way, he's a great personality.
Oh, he's a character.
Really funny. That was after the Blazers game. I remember that now. He said they were asking, "What are you going to do next?" He's like, "I'm going to hit a lefty three."
And he's like, "And I'm going to do it when we're up in a game and I know I'm coming out because they're going to take me out anyway. So what are they going to do?"
Yeah, he's great. Has he done that yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
The lefty three. Well, I tell you what, man. You think about the comparisons to Jordan. We were just talking about this the other day. The odds to win the NBA title, Minnesota was plus 2,500 just the other day, and the number one seed in the West. Like, I get it. In the NBA, you have to win one before you get that respect. See Jokic in Denver. But what if he's that good that? And now, of course, Karl Anthony Towns is hurt, so that kind of sucks.
Still got Gobert in there.
Yeah, they still have Gobert, but I mean, if they're going to win a title, they're probably going to need Cat.
They need Cat. Yeah.
It's just that, what if, like Jordan, I mean, he won Rookie of the Year, but I was looking at his numbers. He didn't win MVP till his fourth year, and that's kind of, and Anthony Edwards has been good every year, but he's gotten better and better and better. That's kind of where Edwards is, and now he's not in the MVP conversation. He probably should be, but he's not because of, Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's having a great year, and Doncic is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But there's another guy who's just not going to get that credit until you win the title.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards, watch. I don't know, like he's MVP level, and Jordan didn't win an MVP till his fourth year. And by the way, Jordan didn't win a title till his seventh year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the comparisons. And the other way they compare is defense.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, what Kevin Garnett was talking about last night. Went viral. Is Anthony Edwards' defense on that play. He scored 44 points in the game.
Yeah.
But he commits to dude. He
came from the weak side, on a half fast break and chased that thing down.
I love that about him.
Yeah.
Jordan loved to play defense, and so does Edwards. So I don't know the comparisons. I just hope that Edwards or somebody like Edwards is the next big thing. because LeBron is winding down, you know? It's like, look at what Ohtani has done for baseball, showing up when he did. Look at, look at what the Chiefs are doing in the NFL right after the Patriots step down as the dynasty and the kind of the team everyone loves to hate, everyone loves to hate because they win all the time. You've already got another dynasty in the NFL. I think we need things like that. And, who knows, maybe Anthony Edwards in Minnesota can go on a run here. That guy, he's that good.
They have a really good collection of talent there. I mean, there's a reason they're first in the West. I think the West is deeper than the East is, and the fact that they're on top of it speaks volumes about what they're able to do and the talent that they have there. Like you said, I think they'll need Towns if they're really going to make a push, but they might have the right combo of vets and young upstarts to really make a run.
Vegas doesn't think they're the odds makers anyway.
No, because you're going to have to go through a gauntlet. You're going to have to go through.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what if Anthony Edwards is
that
turning
dude?
into the real deal, and we're overlooking it?
Yeah, they're probably undervalued as far as that's
maybe so.
concerned.
Yeah, who's more undervalued, them or Oklahoma City? If fully healthy, because if they had cap.
Of course.
I would say probably Minnesota more undervalued.
Definitely.
The other thing about Jordan, I just had to peek back at his stats. This is what's crazy. Games started 82, 7. His second year, he only started 7. He only played 18. But then after that, 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 80, 78. Then, of course, he retires, holding up quotes from Major League Baseball. 17, then 82, 82, 82. These guys don't do that anymore, do they?
Not really.
And that was back when, the games were much more physical back then.
Way more physical.
And that dude's playing 82 games a night. You tell me these guys can't do that?
I mean, I honestly think, and this is a whole other conversation, Suka's talked about this plenty, but I think guys' bodies were different back there. I think that there were guys who could be almost as athletic, but now everyone's body is so finely tuned, I think it needs a different degree of rest. I think these bodies can't take the same degree of wear and tear without sustaining injury. It's like the guys back then might not have been able to jump quite as high or run quite as fast as the guys now, but they were more durable.
Huh. I don't know if I buy that. You think they were more durable then?
Yes. I mean, and I think about the NFL too, all these knee injuries, all these Achilles injuries, all these guys that have the rawest speed and the most muscle mass with no body fat that we've ever seen. I think that you need more of that everyman makeup, and that this is a Ferrari breaking down. It's the parts are too expensive, too finely tuned, and if things don't go exactly right, you got a mess on your hands.
So they're so athletic
that they're more easily broken down.
That they break down easier?
Yeah, that's I kind of believe that.
Kind of.
Well, I generally believe that. I don't have science to back it up, but I think there's a reason why dudes back then were able to play 82 games for years and years and years in a row.
Or it's just the game's gotten they just let players get away with that now.
True. That's possible.
I mean, if you made them, would they be hurt more? I don't know that they would.
But I think there's a lot of guys that are tough and are badasses, and their bodies just don't handle the athletic things that they want to be able to do with them and to them.
I would say I think that NBA players are smarter nowadays. They know that they don't have to play 82 games.
That's true, too.
Oh, my God, Rudy Gobert just airballed a layup.
How does one do that?
He went up for a finger roll, and it just went straight up in the air, not towards the basket.
Nice.
Fantastic. Anyway, I just think guys know now they can pace them. The star players know they can pace themselves.
But do you not feel that we see across all sports more freak and season-ending injuries than we used to back then? Not freak, but the non-contact stuff.
Surely there are numbers on that.
I'm sure there are.
Is there data on that?
Because
know. I've never thought about it, but I don't, off the top of my head, no.
I just feel like the stars of our past were always playing, and they were never guys who were out half a season or missed multiple. I mean, sure, you got a guy like Bill Walton with the foot injuries or whatever, but for the most part, it felt like the stars of the 80s and 90s, they were just always playing.
Maybe they were tougher.
Maybe they were.
Just sucked it up.
Yeah, we got soft. We're all snowflakes now.
That's right. Well, I do think the NBA's,
baby soft.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't disagree on that.
Come on, but I would say that, in fairness to the NBA, we were talking about this. It was the show we were at, the Portland Auto Show, but these guys have gotten so good offensively, you kind of can't guard them. So this idea that they don't play defense in the NBA, it's just not true. Now, sometimes, I mean, there are guys that because they know they can't stop anyone, they don't really try. They don't want to be embarrassed. So there's a lot of that. There is lollygagging that, there's some teams in the league that just don't commit to it and players in the league that don't commit to it. But boy, I tell you what, man, you can watch guys really try to get after it defensively in this league and they can't stop anything.
And it still won't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you see that a lot now, that when a guy is performing at his peak offensively, or when a team is, they're not going to be stopped. You need luck to stop them. You need them to miss because their shot wasn't good enough. You can play whatever defense you want.
Yeah, so in fairness to the NBA, there's a little bit of that with regards to defense and it being kind of a soft or lazy league. There is a little element of that needs to be brought up too. But anyway, I think I'm an Anthony Edwards fan. My two teams are now the Thunder and the T-Wolves. Those are my two teams.
Nice.
Conveniently.
Yeah, I bet that's nice. Question from the Vancouver Ford text line. And I do think this is a good question for this point in time. More famous, Anthony Edwards, the basketball player, or Anthony Edwards, the actor?
Well, probably the actor.
Probably, but
right?
What's he done recently? With the youngs,
he's
I don't
dead.
know. Anthony Edwards?
Yeah. Isn't Anthony Edwards dead?
Is he?
I think, yeah.
Did he die?
I think Goose died.
Well, he died in the movie, Top Gun.
Oh. Am I...
Oh, hold on. I just typed in Anthony Goose. That is not his name.
Oh, he's alive. Sorry. I'm sorry. I killed him off.
Did you?
Yeah, he's 61.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I was thinking of Top Gun. He went down with the plane. That's why you haven't seen him, you idiot.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be him, right?
I think for people our age, yes. But, for the youngs, I don't know. Because, again, I don't feel like Anthony Edwards, the actor,
I tell you what,
has
dude,
done much recently.
The other thing, even line up sports fan, maybe not NBA guy, but line up sports fan and put out the top 5, put out Curry, LeBron, Doncic, Jokic, and Edwards as your top 5 in a lineup. People are going, who the hell's that guy?
Yeah.
Pointing to Anthony Edwards.
For sure.
He's not.
Well, and the things that he's most well known for happened a long time ago. Like Top Gun, Revenge of the Nerds, like ER.
Oh, you're talking. I was like, wait, Anthony Edwards, the basketball player, wasn't in Top Gun.
Other Anthony Edwards now.
But yeah, no, Anthony Edwards is interesting, and he's, if you haven't watched him play, watch him. And part of it too is he plays in Minnesota. And again, like I said, what?
We got to call Joey.
Oh, I know. I'm wrapping it.
I just realized as we're going on about this actor basketball player popularity battle.
Let's get Joey in here, but you got to win a title in order to get that sort of recognition. So maybe Edwards is on that trajectory. I don't know. Watch out for my Timberwolves. All right, Joey Harrington joins us next for Story Time. Here's Buck.
Now.
time. It's story time with our friend Joey Harrington. Hello.
Hello.
What was the scene like today at Child Center for the big game?
What about the Child Center?
What was the scene?
I couldn't hear you over the applause.
Yeah,
I just saw those
they
people
love
that
you.
are clapping.
Yeah, the studio audience loves you. What? Weren't you at the Child Center today?
I was.
What was it like?
I was.
What was the scene like for the big
It
game?
was electric. It was absolutely hair on the back of your neck, standing up, Autzen Stadium, night game, Halloween, USC, electric.
Now, some may think you're being a smartass, but
I wouldn't go smartass. I would say slightly facetious. However,
I don't think you are.
No, I would be. I'm being slightly facetious. However, and I'm not just saying this. The Central Catholic student body was absolute, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an alum and obviously, was rooting for Central. The sections behind the hoops at the Child Center, full, packed, all wearing the same, all color coordinated, all cheering, all jumping, all like it was really cool to see. Like that's what I remember high school basketball being. Down at the Memorial Coliseum and the state basketball tournament before it moved, and like you would get an entire student body turning out behind the hoop, and that's what Central had today, and that was really cool to see. And frankly, so Central went up 30 to 11. Whoa. I mean, they went on a tear early, and then okay, here you go, Suk. Ready?
Well,
Suk's are you there? I was going to say I haven't heard Suk.
Yeah, he's not here.
Nope, you just get Buckley.
Oh.
Yeah, Buckley's here though.
Oh.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, Buckley, ready?
I'm ready.
So if I told you that a student body started chanting "scoreboard" in the second quarter, what happened?
Administrators shut it down.
Oh, God, no. Rob, if I told you that a student body started chanting "scoreboard" in the second quarter, what happened? This is why we need Suk here, because he's a former player. He understands that there is a relationship with the sports gods, right?
Oh, okay. They lost.
So the student body was absolutely incredible, out in full force, going crazy, up 30 to 11 in the second quarter, and then started chanting in response to something Tualatin said. Their fans were chanting. Starts chanting "scoreboard," and I looked at the guy one of my buddies sitting next to me, and I said, "That's going to be the kiss of death."
Yeah.
And sure enough, I think Tualatin went on a 28-6 run after that.
Well, in fairness to me, you did not let me answer. That was going to be my answer, was that they went on a big run.
Yeah. You can't do that. It's like you can't triple stamp a double stampy. You can't chant "scoreboard" unless the game is locked up in the fourth quarter, because the basketball gods will throw it back in your face. And sure enough, like, Tualatin, give them credit. Like, they came roaring back, and they fought, and Central looked lost for a good part of the middle of that game, that third quarter, and they were down. I think they got down maybe about 7 heading into the fourth quarter. But credit Coach Blue. Tony Angelo. Some of those guys, like they just fought. They fought their way back. Like defensively, they played fantastic, and they ended up winning. At the end of the game, winning at the free throw line, I think they ended up being like 73-67, 72-67. But it was a hell of a basketball game.
Yeah, Central Catholic beat Tualatin, and Roosevelt hammered Beaverton. So I guess it's tomorrow, right? Central Catholic Roosevelt.
There you go.
So one of the reasons I did not think you were being a smartass about it being electric in there is that I saw some highlights the other night. Just happened to be watching the news, and they were showing highlights of the quarterfinals, and it looked a lot of fun. It looked like a lot of fun in there. I remember going to basketball games when I was in high school. We had a really good football team that would win state titles, and we had an okay basketball team. But I always remember as a student, the basketball games were more fun. I don't know why. But they were. Maybe because in football you're just up there hitting on girls and you're not really paying attention. Next thing you know, you won 42-7 and you go out to drinking.
I think there's something to everyone being squeezed into the same small gym that kind of brings the vibe up.
The environments were fun with basketball.
Wait, there's two things. I don't know anything about during a football game hitting on girls, and then like that I'm not quite sure where that comes from. I didn't have that experience.
Well, that's what us normies used to do while we watched you guys play.
Gotcha. However, I did have the experience of being in the stands my freshman and sophomore year. My freshman year, watching Matt Santangelo and Mike Doliak win a state championship. That was Central's last state championship, 1994, 30 years ago, and now we're playing for it tomorrow. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's been a while.
This is a big deal,
and it is. And I vividly remember being behind the hoop at Memorial Coliseum and Central versus Clackamas. Phil Johnson was the sharpshooter for Clackamas. God, I think he had 28 that game. I mean, just a hell of a scorer. And you're right. There was something really cool about being a basketball fan. Obviously, I wasn't in the stands junior, senior year because I was playing, but maybe that's why, I don't know, like maybe that's why I was part of the student, the student section at Oregon basketball games because I missed it.
Yeah.
Story. I was part of the group that started the pit crew, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Famously, yes, we know that.
Yeah. It was literally just like like there was an unorganized group of 10 or 12 of us that would kind of look around. It's like, oh, hey, good to see you again. Like we all kind of sat there and we wait in line. And then it was like, they always talk about the Cameron Crazies, but this place is awesome in Eugene. Like, let's do it ourselves. So, basketball student sections are just a lot of fun.
They are. Some of the most fun I had at KU was being in the student section for some of their games. But you're saying that like there was like 10 or 12 of you that were in line to go into the pit or to Matt Court, watch a game, and you didn't know each other.
Yeah, the pit, yeah.
But you all just eventually said, we should, like, what was the origin of that? What did you do? How does that come about?
It was like a halftime conversation because for probably 2 years, we didn't actually officially form the pit crew until what would have been after my senior year. No. Check that. Maybe? God, I'm getting old now. Was it before it was either 2000 or 2001. I thought it was the 2001 season with Luke Jackson, Luke Ridenour, and Freddie Jones. I could be wrong. Call it age and, I've got a couple kids now. But we spent a couple years and, it was myself and Mike McGowan and Brian Alfano and Naomi Calder and just like these groups that a couple friends would sit over here. And then we had our friends that would sit over here. And then there were a couple people and we would just for 2 or 3 years, we'd just always see each other at the games. And it was one of those, you never quite knew their names, but I was like, hey guys, good to see you again. Oh, hey, what's happening? And then, you're all crammed in shoulder to shoulder and you just kind of sweat on each other. And it's like, yeah, now we're friends now. And at some point during a halftime, we just kind of looked at each other and I was like, what do you think we should, we've been starting some chants. What do you say we organize? And I said, well, I could probably get us a room at the Cas Center. And sure enough, we got a conference room and, put it out to that group of, Naomi had a group of about 3 or 4 and I had a group of about 5 or 6. And there was another guy, I can't remember his name now. Again, it's been, 20 years, had a group of about 3 or 4. And we just kind of officially formed and went to the athletic department and it's like, hey, we have a official student section. It was, Matt Court is called the Pit. We're the crew that supports the basketball team at the Pit. So we're going to call ourselves the Pit Crew. And we made T-shirts. They helped us get T-shirts printed that year. And that first game, whoever showed up, if you were in the stands for that, oh my God, what happened to my T-shirt? I should try and find that in storage. I wonder if I buried it somewhere. We passed out T-shirts, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, like, Tinker's making Jordans for the pit crew, and then things take off. But it was fun.
Yeah, there's something about it's the proximity. Like you're right on top of each other. Like you said, that the environment at Childs, and then Matt Court was conducive to it, and Cameron Indoor and Allen Fieldhouse. Because like Matt Court comes along, and then all of a sudden that it's almost too spacious, right? Like it's
nice.
Yeah, it just doesn't kind of breed that environment. I miss Matt Court, dude. Matt Court was, I didn't go to many games down there, but when I did, I thought it was awesome.
So here's the thing. Matt Court was incredible. Absolutely phenomenal. I think we've hit the point, and we had this, I was at the game maybe a week or two ago. I think we've hit the point where we can officially turn the page, right? Like there are enough people, or I should say there are more people that have not experienced Matt Court than have.
Yeah.
Like we're at the point where it's time to move on. We can acknowledge it for the greatness that it was, but now it's time to make Matthew Knight its own special thing. And I was at the game on Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, against Oregon State. And I looked around and I was impressed. I was surprised, like pleasantly surprised. The student section showed up on the court, but they also showed up behind the hoop. And if Oregon could stay healthy and truly get that campus behind them, they could turn Matthew Knight into an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, it's never going to be the same of, sitting on the third row and literally, like, imagine a box, like this rectangle box when you're on the third deck, like you're essentially on the sideline looking straight down on top of the court. Like that was,
that
awesome.
Was
the craziness. Yeah, it was.
Rats.
It'll never be that, but it could be really cool. Yeah.
Now I'm looking at Central Catholic's notable alumni tab on Wikipedia, and there's only one name. Do you know what name that is?
I will either go with, boy, you could go Galen Rupp.
Ooh, it's not him, but I didn't know he
Olympic medalist in the marathon.
I didn't know he went to Central. Okay. Only one.
Man, go. It's not going to be Santangelo or Doliak.
It's not.
Where would you go?
It's you. It's you, sir.
No.
It's you. Yep.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
No, it's just you. And that's why I was going to ask, like, I didn't know Rupp went there, but Doliak should be on that list, and probably Santangelo, too.
Santangelo should be. Gonzaga is Gonzaga because of Richie Fromm and Matt Santangelo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's
get that was the team that, Casey Cavalry. I always mix that up. Anyway, against Kyle Alameen and Rip Hamilton, UConn in the Elite Eight. That was Gonzaga's first run. And Santangelo and Doliak brought Central our first basketball state championship in, God, when was it? Like 1958 or 1960 something? We've only had one in the last 50 years.
Maybe tomorrow. All right, let's put a pin in it, and we'll come back and continue to talk. I don't know what we're going to talk about next. I got a Bo Nix question for you if you like it. Or
we could just go straight tangent. I could think of the most crazy, random stuff out of the break.
Okay. I like that better. Let's see what Joey comes up with. Put you on the spot.
Basketball. Okay, are we going? Okay, give me a topic, and I'll come back with something out of the break.
Well, I thought that's what you were going to do. You want a topic?
Oh.
Okay.
Let's college basketball. Like what are we focusing on?
Let's go March Madness.
March Madness.
All right.
Go.
More with Joey Harrington next, courtesy of Mods PDX on the Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics, brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Apparently, Buckster has a small piece of Oregon football news.
I do. Did you know that Oregon has added to their football staff? Did you know that?
No. Yes.
Dan Lanning adding Matt Lombardi as an
NFL.
analyst to the staff.
Isn't he a former NFL guy?
That's right. Worked with the Raiders and the Panthers. He also worked with Will Stein at Louisville, so has a little connection there. But bringing an NFL guy in to help out as an analyst.
An analyst. What does he analyze?
Passing game. He
Sweet.
worked with the receivers with the Raiders. So passing game guy to help out Will Stein.
What's his name again?
Matt Lombardi.
Okay.
Good last name for football.
Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. My thing is, like, largely this entire roster's not what it is. Like, when you talk about the future and being good, if they ever get there, it ain't this roster. Like, most of these dudes ain't it. There are a couple guys that I'm wondering, like, can they hang around? Can they be something, if anything at all, outside of, like, the Scoot Shadens?
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Auto accident? I'm Leif with Leif's Auto Collision Centers. Recently, a customer told me their vehicle had been repaired at an insurance body shop. After repairs, they tried to trade it in. The dealership subtracted $3,000 due to poor repairs. Surveys find over 90% of vehicles repaired at cheap insurance shops are inferior. Amazing. Insurers profit from unsafe repairs and loss of value. Don't be a victim twice. You have the right to choose. Choose Leif's. Pre-loss repairs, factory parts, the finest in collision repair.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Hey, it's Zook for Crunch Fitness. March into Crunch this month and pay just $5 to enroll on memberships that start as low as $9.99 a month. Plus, your first month is free. I know getting into the gym isn't always easy, but no matter how you work out, Crunch can get you to the next level with the best personal trainers, state-of-the-art cardio equipment, or group fitness classes. You're going to find something that works for you. So check out Crunch in Portland, Vancouver, that's where you're going to find me, or online at crunch.com. Work out where I work out. $5 enrollment ends March 20th.
Hey, it's Tiki Barber. eBay Motors has everything you need to keep your ride or die alive. From superchargers, brakes, exhaust kits, and more. With over 122 million parts, eBay Motors levels your baby up to its peak performance. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home the win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Story time with Joey on 1080 The Fan.
Well, it seems we are rubbing off on Joey because as random as we like to go on the show, he now likes to go random and wants to go random this seggy for story time. Topic being March Madness. Go.
So we talked a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week. You asked me if I could land a plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you the story of getting invited on. So this was after my senior year in college. That basketball March Madness with Luke, and Freddie, right? And we were pit crew, and and so a group. There were 7 of them. There was 1 spot left on the plane, and I flew out with them, and then said, "Hey, I have to fly back." So I was the only one on the flight going back, and got to sit in the co-pilot seat, and took the sticks at 42,000 feet over. We were over like somewhere in Montana. Anyway. That plane had to come back and pick up those 7 alums, right? So they played in the Sweet 16 in Madison and beat Texas. That was the game I was at by myself with those 7 alums. we were flying back, and part of the conversation I had with those pilots was, hey, we have to fly back. We're flying an empty leg to pick up those other people. If you want to bring part of the pit crew back to Madison, they'd have to find their way home, but we would fly them out. So I said, screw the pit crew. Well, not really. I said, the part of the pit crew that happened to live in the house with me, I was like, let's go. So we loaded up. There were 8 of us that were pit crew members, and loaded up on this jet. And, some found way homes on companion fares at a Delta through Milwaukee, and some had, finagled their way on other planes going back home. But there were 8 of us that were all college seniors and ended up on a private jet on our way back to the Elite Eight when Oregon played
Kansas.
Rob?
The Jayhawks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Nick Collison, Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah.
I believe Aaron Miles was a freshman on that team.
Aaron Miles and Michael Lee, both from Portland.
Both from Portland, Jefferson High School. That's right. Yeah. So we showed up, we showed up to the plane at, 10 in the morning or whatever it was, and you hop on, and, it's not like any of us as college seniors have any experience with private jets.
Right.
And, we get in, and the pilots are like, all right, here you go. Here's the quick little spiel, and here's your emergency exit, and, here's where your seatbelts are, and here's where the stash of, here's where all the snacks and the booze are. And it's like, wait, what? It's like, oh, yeah, there's an entire drawer over here of, anything that
just
you want to eat or drink. Just help yourself.
Yeah, is there a flight attendant?
Oh, hell no.
That's a stupid question.
No, no, it's the plane wasn't that big. On some of the bigger ones there are, but it was just an 8-person jet going back. And I'm very aware of my situation at the time, and I can't be doing stupid things, and I can have fun, but let's not be stupid. But my roommates and some of the other pit crew members that hey, they got they're not going to end up in the newspaper. So as we are blasting Snoop at 40,000 feet and emptying out the snacks and drinks drawer, I'm thinking to myself, now, I remember something when I remember somebody saying that when you come down from altitude, that the alcohol usually hits you, right? You can have a drink or two at altitude, but then when you come down, it hits. Sure enough, there was a limo waiting for us to take us to what's the arena at Madison. But we hopped into that limo after, and I'm not I have this, you have memories burned into your brain.
Oh yeah.
Sitting there in this jet with a drink in hand and all of my college roommates in our own jet listening to Snoop. I was like, what in the world have we just found ourselves into?
What is
and then we
life?
landed what the hell just happened? And then we land and the limo's waiting on the tarmac. Sure, of course it is. And sure enough, everybody falls asleep in the limo on the way to the game. I'm looking around. I was like, wait, no. We need to be ready to lead the entire Oregon cheering section, and that's the reason you're here is we're going to be the pit crew in Madison, and everybody fell asleep on the way to the game because when in Rome.
Yeah. Did they rally? Did they end up pulling it together?
Did they rally?
Of course.
In the words of the great philosopher Alan Jones, does 100 pounds of dough make a big old cookie?
But here's the real question. You guys have to rally. At that age, I would be very disappointed if you didn't. And it's a huge game, right? That was a big deal. I remember that. Kansas kicked the crap out of you guys, not to remind you of that.
No.
They sure did.
No, it was an 8-point game.
The final score, I'm looking at the box score. The final score was 104-86.
That's garbage.
That is an 18-point game.
Yeah. And we had Drew Gooden, too. I forgot about that. That team was really good. Anyway.
That team was really good.
Is it safe to say that the PJ out with your buddies drinking free drinks, that was the highlight of the trip? You're going to one of the biggest games in Oregon basketball history, playing Kansas, a right to go to the Final Four, and yet the flight out is probably the best part.
Oregon hadn't been to the Final Four since, the Tall Furs in 1938?
38, 39, yeah.
I remember that. I remember that being such a big deal.
You remember the 1938 game? Yeah, that was...
My Tall Furs.
Yeah. Honestly, there's no way you could be sitting there as a 21, 22-year-old kid thinking, you know what? In a year, I bet you I'm going to be sitting in a private jet with my roommates.
Right.
Because we started the pit crew and people want us to be there as the cheering section. And you know what? We're probably going to be flying to watch our team, the best team in potentially in the history of Oregon basketball, watch them play for a chance to go to the Final Four. You know what? That's probably going to happen in 11 or 12 months. Right. There's no way.
Amazing. How did you guys get the limo?
I don't know. I just showed up.
God, what a charmed life you lead. Or led.
Those are the details. Yeah, led. Now it's like, okay, what kid's coming home from school and who's sick and, who has to get to a soccer tournament and, yeah. I had somebody come over and introduce themselves to me. They're like, "Are you Joey?" I was like, "No, I'm just the limo driver. Or I'm just the taxi driver. I just shuttle these kids from point A to point B."
Now, have you ever? I assume you've flown private in other occasions, having been a NFL quarterback and all that.
I have
Yeah.
not on a regular basis, but I have been lucky enough to do so. Yeah.
Phil's
it doesn't stink.
Phil's jet. You've been on Phil's jet, huh?
That was actually how I came home from Madison. We had to kind of split up to come. The plane was going back to pick up those other 7 donors, right? So the pilots were like, "Hey, we can get you out." In the words of the immortal Stuart Scott, well, I guess you don't gotta. I was gonna say you don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. So we can get you there, but you gotta find your own way home. So I was, lucky enough to be able to hop on a seat on Phil's. We had some that had some other ways home and figured it out. But
fantastic.
Yeah, that. It didn't stink.
Good
except
life.
for that whole losing. We only lost by 2 in that game.
I like that you thought it was an 8-point game. I remember that being a
It was
drubbing.
seriously like an 8. It was that game that whatever the final score was, it was because it was just garbage time. You guys just pulled away in garbage time.
Well, the halftime score was 48-42, so you may be right about that. I will say, though, Ridnour-Jackson combined 6
they struggled.
of 20.
Yep. No, they struggled. I remember that
Freddie
game.
was good.
Freddie had a good game, and Luke struggled that game. But that happens.
All right, but
that happens.
More important thing is you got out there on a PJ with free drinks with your buddies. And you're
there
right.
You go. You asked me to think of a March Madness story.
Yeah. And
it is story time, and it is basketball season, so boom.
There it is.
There you go.
All right, sir.
Don't forget Snoop. That was the
Don't forget what?
Snoop.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That boy, I tell you what, if you would have, what you should have done is asked, "Hey, what do you think we were blaring on the plane?" I tell you what, I think Snoop probably would have been one of my top 2 guesses.
Yeah, I think it was Chronic 2001.
I was going to say you must have been right on the heels of Chronic 2001, which was a banger of an album.
Yeah, I think we probably listened to that whole album on repeat. Is probably what happened.
And the other thing I was thinking about this story is. It's probably, for you, you were a big-time quarterback and you were getting ready to go play in the NFL and all that. So you have this kind of you're adjacent to that kind of life. For your buddies, what that must have been for them, I would like to hear them tell that story at some point. I bet that would be hilarious, because it's probably as great as that was for you. It was probably 10 times greater for them. Thinking
let's get them on the line next week.
Yeah, let's do it. All 8 of them. Have a good weekend.
Conference call. See you guys.
All right, we'll see you later. That's Joey Harrington. He is courtesy Mods PDX. The future of building is here. Gotta love story time. All right, up next, I've got an update on America's favorite pooch. And we have the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. The club is next on The Fan.
If you're a pro
Squeezed in a lot there.
March Madness and PJs, it happens.
I want to fly private. I've never flown private. Have you ever flown private?
I have not, and let me tell you,
in your rich and privileged life?
No, never have. I've gotten to do some pretty cool, like, I don't know, like I got to go to a Super Bowl once when I was in high school, which was really cool, but never anything that high society.
Wait, you got to go to a Super Bowl on a private jet?
No. But I got to go as like part of a corporate event, and we got like to do a bunch of cool stuff and a bunch of like meet and greets with famous people, but like never anything as high society as a private jet.
There will be a day. I don't know when it will be, but there will be a day when I'm hopping on a private jet with a bag of cash, and some bros,
Where are you
maybe
going?
even you. Oh, we're going to Vegas.
Okay.
And it's gonna be at the drop of a hat. It's gonna be like on a whim.
That would be the best way to do it. Like if you had,
and we'll be back that night.
Because let's be honest, like it would be cool to line up and plan going on a private jet, but how much cooler would it be if basically only the person who arranged it knew it was coming and everybody else was like, whoa, we're going on a private jet tonight to Vegas?
Here's what I want. This is it. We play golf. I don't know where. Somewhere around here. We're playing golf. Probably Langdon. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
Bless you. Ooh, that was good.
So we're golfing. We get done. We have a few drinks. It's like, I'm kind of feeling Vegas. And then Buck looks over at me. He's like, me too. My wife's out of town. And then Sook looks over and he's like, I'm always game. And then, I don't know, whoever else is there is like, let's do it. Somebody, of course, has to have a private jet.
Yeah.
Won't be me.
It'll be Ortner, I think.
Yeah, somebody rich. They'd be like, you know what? Let's fire it up. I'll make a call.
I feel like you and Sook have some rich friends. Maybe not private jet rich, but...
yeah. Well, I got one guy in mind, and I've told him this. I've told him, like, you're doing really well. Your business is booming. At some point, the story, the scenario that I'm about to put forth needs to happen, and it's probably he's the guy that's going to make it.
Yeah.
And we golf a lot together. And
so you just keep planting that seed, tending to that seed, and eventually that thing will sprout and grow.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a PJ warmed up. We drive for an hour, or we drive within the hour. We park at PDX. We hop on his PJ. We party. We get to Vegas.
You might even go to the little private Hillsborough airport too.
That's right. We hit Vegas, and then we don't even stay. No hotel, nothing. You just party. You gamble.
So I have talked about doing that part with my buddies.
And then you hit the PJ and come back.
Where we find a cheap fare last minute and just go to Vegas, do not get a hotel, party that whole night, and then just get on the first flight out and come home. But just replace, Southwest with a private jet.
Right. But there's nothing worse than the Southwest flight home from Vegas.
There's
just
something.
awful.
I'll go as far as say there's nothing worse than the flight home from Vegas.
I know,
I mean, specifically when you're doing the cattle call, that sucks.
We usually fly Alaska, but sometimes we fly Southwest home, and I got to tell you, I think the Southwest flight's worse. It's dingier. It
probably is.
It's just like, I don't know. There's something about it. It's like, oh my god.
But the overall depression of the collective people leaving Vegas.
Yeah.
There's never been a bigger dichotomy than the mood of people arriving in Vegas and the mood of people leaving Vegas.
No question. Maybe someday. All right, well, let's get back on track. We've got the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. This is according to science. And I'll give you a quick update on how much it costs to repair Molly Two Poop's insides. It was a lot.
Yeah, and I'm still interested in the object, if we've gotten any closer to figuring out what that was.
No, they kept the objects. And
I knew that they you said there were a couple, but at the time, the way they described them, you weren't sure what they were.
It's weird.
Okay.
That's next. It's the Club, 617 on the Fan.
It's the Vancouver Ford text line.
Plenty of time to talk sports today.
One number does it all. 503-8646.
Can I get a hot tub?
All right, well, now the update you've all been waiting for, America's favorite mutt, Molly Two Poops. I can inform you that she is back home. She is doing well.
Good girl.
Recovering from intestinal blockage surgery where she almost died. She's fine. And today was a pretty good day because apparently, according to my wife, this happened while I was on the show, she pooped. And that's a good sign.
Did you do it twice?
Not today.
Well, Molly 1 poop's good enough for today.
Right. Well, so I told this story last week. I was actually late to the show one day because I had to take her to the emergency vet. She was throwing up all morning. She's like a 15-pound Mexi mutt, right? This dog has gone from roaming the streets of Mexico to a Southwest Portland Shangri-La, and yet she's getting fed every day.
Still finding a way to get into trouble.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's still finding a way to pretend like she's a street dog. Like, I got to eat that. I don't know where my next meal's coming from. So she ate something. She eats everything. So you got to watch her, but somehow she got something. We didn't catch it, and she starts puking all morning, and now she's like shivering and really uncomfortable, and she won't stop puking, and she won't eat. And so we're like, all right, maybe we should take her to the vet. We take her to the emergency vet because the vet can't see her. They're booked. Emergency vets. We're like, I'm like, oh my God, how much is this going to cost? All right. So they assess her. They were like, well, her abdomen's not that distended or whatever they call it. And like, I don't.
Yeah, where it's kind of like the blockage is full, starts to swell.
Yeah,
kind of comes. Yeah.
She's like, I don't think that. Maybe let's just get her on some anti-nausea med, and if she's still puking in the morning, if she pukes through the anti-nausea med, you know that something's up. Her body's still trying to get rid of something. Let's and then bring her back. Well, of course she does, and we take her back in there. $1,000 later. It is an intestinal blockage, and she needs surgery. And they say that she probably needs 2 surgeries because we see 2 obstructions. Okay, and we've already paid $1,000, so now we're going into surgery and possibly 2. Boy.
Yeah, and you're like, so you really can't do this as like a 2 birds, 1 stone kind of a shot, no?
Well, they said they'd try.
Well, and of course, and hopefully, you just have to hope that they're actually going to. Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
If they say, no, it's actually going to take 2.
Totally at their mercy.
This is very much like being at the auto mechanic, and they're like, well, do you want your car to run? And you're like, I don't think it should cost that much.
I don't even know what people do when not a lot of people can afford this crap.
I know.
What do people do? Seriously, what do they do?
They go into debt.
Do they?
Probably.
They just find a way to pay it?
I think that's it. I think that people probably figure it out now, ask the questions later, and I mean. When you're talking about like a pet, people get so flippin' attached.
Well, dude,
they will put themselves through hell to make sure the pet's okay and figure out their end later.
And so I said $1,000. You may be thinking that that's the final bill. Oh, no. This is just the diagnostic bill.
Because you quoted us on Friday or Thursday or whatever it was quite a bit more.
Well, before they put him into surgery, they do spit out a quote, and they go low end to high end. Like, it's probably going to fall somewhere in this range. And the quote was $5,000 to $9,000. So... I can't even have this conversation with my wife, right? I'm looking at her like, well, back where I'm from in Kansas, I got a little Kansas in me. I'm like, the dog's probably going to die. Like,
things happen to animals that aren't great.
That's right. There's no vets in the wild. It's like, it sucks. But bye. Well, of course, that conversation didn't happen.
She's part of this family, Isaac.
So we get down there and you put a $5,000 deposit.
Ooh.
So right there, we're in it for 6 G's, and she hasn't even gone into surgery. She might not even make it. So anyway, they call us, I don't know, later that day, and they're like, yeah, we got it in 1 surgery. And she pulls out, and they kept what was inside her. She had eaten 2, they're like rubber rings.
So you showed me the photo. I would describe them like, for anyone who's just familiar with basic hardware, they look like a washer, like just the shape of like a washer that you would put with like a bolt and a nut.
But they're a little bigger.
But they're thicker, and they're like black rubber, and they're thick.
And to this day, I don't know what those are, where she got those. I have no idea. But they pulled 2 of those bitches out of there. So when we got her home, man, it was dicey. Like, I thought this dog was going to die. She's lost a ton of weight. She looks terrible. She's all drugged up. Long story short, that was that yesterday or Wednesday we got her home maybe? Today she's doing a little bit better. She's recovering. She's probably going to live. And our final bill, grand total, all in,
bracing,
$8,575.
Oh.
So I ask you this question. Yes, that's true. I ask you this question. Where is the cutoff?
What's the line?
Yeah. What is it? I'm going to ask my wife. I haven't had a chance to talk to her
No,
about
I know,
it yet.
but like, okay,
well, I'm gonna ask her
is
that
it
tonight.
5 figures? If that thing's $11K, are you saying no?
I don't think so. I think she's saying
Okay, so what if it's $20K?
There you go.
Or is it 15?
I'll report back.
Where do because it's a question that I think only gets answered when you're in the moment. Like, I mean, it's like the drop you play.
Yeah.
More, probably. I mean,
That's right.
Where do you? Oh man,
it's a tough one. I hope you guys never have to go through this.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Go through something like that. It does suck, and you worry about the dog, and you love the little dog, but then you're pissed at the little dog, and it's just an absolute mess, and it's still a mess. Her wound is it's just gross. Everything's gross. She's got diarrhea, and she smells, and it's
so on top of being expensive, she's also still a handful.
Yes.
So you're waiting on this $9,000 dog.
Yeah, and that's what somebody said. New name, Molly 8Gs. Hell yeah, that's what I'm gonna start calling her.
Molly 9 racks.
Molly 9 rack. God. And for those of you,
I love that, by the way. Molly 8Gs or Molly 9 racks.
For those of you saying pet insurance, I know I'm so kicking myself. I should have got. I've never really had pet insurance on any of my other dogs.
We've gone on and off because it feels like when we don't end up ever really like cashing in anything, but we're also bracing for there being a day that something like this happens and we're not covered.
Yeah.
I don't think we have it right now.
Yeah, dude, I'd get it. I got to tell you, man, this is, especially this dog, because I know this dog eats everything. I'm like,
well, when you know they're prone or they want to do that, then even more so.
Why did I not get pet insurance? So now I'm looking into, because the first thing I said to my wife when everything calmed down, I'm like, you know this is going to happen again, right?
Well, so here's my question: is this like I don't know, like something like fire insurance, where once you've had a fire, now they're going to charge you way more? Like, are they going to look at your pet's record and be like, oh, this dog eats stuff, your premium's going to be way higher?
100%. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. But I've already looked into it. I'm getting a quote. I think I'm going to buy it no matter what. And yes, the age of the dog is a big factor, and that's what somebody said on the text line. We don't really know how old she is. Like I said, we just picked her up off the streets of Mexico.
So when they opened her up, they couldn't count the rings? It didn't work like that?
They said she's like 5 or 6 or something like that. So she's got a lot of life left, maybe. But anyway, her rags to riches story. She's had a rough week.
Got a lot richer.
Yeah. She's had a rough week. We got a lot poorer. And that's fresh off of losing a bunch of money in Vegas because I'm an idiot.
What? Well, you said that this probably means you're not going to Vegas in the summertime.
Well, I've rethought that. We've already booked that trip.
There you go. Don't sacrifice for the dog.
That's right. We're going. Damn it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the cutoff is. I'm going to go home and ask my wife, and I'll report back what she says.
I'm very interested in this answer. And I wouldn't be surprised if she says, well, I can't really tell you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like there's no number. It's like, you know.
But like surely there must be. If you came back and it's like 50 G's, she's not saying yes, right?
I mean.
Or is that bond that strong?
I don't know, man. I don't know what she'd say. I think there's probably in her head a way to rationalize that. Just like you can rationalize, you know, a couple $100,000 for an ADU that we built. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's you can always your mind.
The mental gymnastics you're able to do become very impressive.
All right, guys, that's the latest. Molly 2 poops. Molly 8Gs. She's fine. She seems to be turning a corner. She's doing better. All right, the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. This is according to science. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk.
But I thought this was kind of cool. You've always, and we've talked about it here, just like the greatest songs of all time lists and things that people put out, Rolling Stone or whomever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to Science, we have the official list of the top 5 most iconic songs of all time. Now, iconic, a little different than greatest, because I guess greatest is a little more subjective.
I feel like iconic is also slightly subjective.
It is.
But could also just mean how much traction it's gotten.
Well, okay, so this is, and when I say according to Science, this is literally a scientist doing this. This guy's a computer scientist from Goldsmiths University.
Those scientists better check their hypotenuses, dude.
And he looked at the songs that appeared on all-time top lists compiled by well-known music publications, including Rolling Stone, VH1, NME, and Q Magazine. So then he applies some analytical software to the deal. He examined the parameters of these songs, including beats per minute, lyrical content, chord variety, and many more factors. Okay, so when the results came back, it spit out a top 50 most iconic songs of all time. So, in other words, these songs have to have these things in
those specific
common.
elements.
Yes, and those things are. They use sound in varied and dynamic ways, which makes the record exciting. Around 80% are in a major key. The average tempo is 125 beats per minute. They have low chord changes. Certain words appear regularly, such as baby, feel, and love. They have high spectral flux, which is how the power of a note from one to the next varies. And they have high timbral dissonance. And I know you're a big timbral dissonance guy.
I love timbral dissonance.
So look, I don't know what much of that means, but I love the analytics look at this because this is the closest you can get to actually applying less subjective models to something that seemingly is so subjective. Okay, so I can't give you the top 50 as well. We only have so many minutes left. So in the interest of time, I have the top 5. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Although you already know these.
I'm still a little tripped up by the whole iconic thing, and because I get the parameters that you are discussing and the things that would make it that way, but I guess I'm like wondering just like quantitatively and qualitatively how that gets specifically measured. But I'm interested.
Well, it's measured by the things that I just mentioned, but the commonality.
But like
is,
how people react to those, like what makes
they
those...
they were on all of the all-time top songs list. All of the he looked at why those songs
and what they had in common
are all on there and what they had in common. Yes. So
okay.
here we go. And there's only one in the top 5 that I think is a bit of a shocker. Here's number 5. And this, of course, I mean. time, according to, science. 6:43. We'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
Have you seen a
All right, I got to end with one story that I teased a couple times and we never got to. I got to tell you about this. I had you waiting patiently
on bated breath
for this story, and it is the Malaysian airliner update.
Yes! I desperately want to know more about what happened to that thing.
Well, we all do. It's one of the bigger mysteries, right?
It's one of the bigger modern mysteries that we have out there currently.
Just gone. Poof. But it's also easy to rationalize away. Like, well, okay.
The ocean is big. It's hard to find.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's just it.
But then there's the flip side of but today with all the technology we have, we should still be able to track this thing down.
And I think we should.
Yeah.
So there's a Texas-based company called Ocean Infinity that is claiming that they have scientific evidence of the final resting place of the Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. Now, that disappeared March of 2014, I think.
Okay.
We all know what happened. There was a couple hundred people on board. No one's ever heard from any of them since, and they have found a few. That's the other thing, is they found a few little scraps from the plane. I mean, they have.
Right, yeah, we have plane debris. Some of it's washed up ashore places.
Yeah. So we know it's, it's down in there somewhere. It's just shocking that we can't find it. Well, they say they have scientific evidence of where it is resting, and they have announced a proposal for a new search because they've called off the search. They essentially just said,
we've devoted all the resources we can to this. And, yeah.
Well, they want a new search in the southern Indian Ocean, where the plane is believed to have crashed. And what they are saying is they have submitted it to the Malaysian government, and they're doing it for no cost unless they find it. So they have proposed a no cure, no fee search.
Got it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do this. If we don't find it, it costs you no skin off your nose.
That's right. Now, if we do find it, you have to
pay for the answers.
You have to pay. So I don't know what the Malaysian government's going to do there, but that's the update. Is that they think they know where it is, but they won't say,
Do we know what the cost of this sort of operation
is? I can't even
because
imagine.
I wonder if they're willing to say if we don't find, is there some Malaysian millionaire or billionaire that could just say, I care enough, who cares what the government says? I'll pay if you find it.
Maybe, I bet it's more than Molly Two Poops surgery.
I'm gonna guess, yeah, probably higher than 9Gs.
Molly 9Gs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there were 239 people, 12 crew. They're pretty tight-lipped on what they think or where they think it is or why they think they have the final resting place. But wouldn't that be something?
But
if
it's what they do, apparently.
Yeah, it's definitely what they do. It would be wild if they said, okay, if the Malaysian government said, okay, go do it, and then they just the next day they're like, here it is,
we got it. What if they already have it?
They might,
and they might know exactly.
Which might be why they're
so willing to offer them the free services if they don't find it, because they've already found it.
Exactly. They're trying to shake them down for a little cash, a little scratch. Anyway, that whole story is just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It really is.
How that can happen. At any rate, I think I'm done.
Okay.
I'm out of energy.
Got a couple more minutes here.
Oh. Let's listen to some music. I did read a story today about...
Okay, and?
You're a dork.
I am specifically, or if you like music of a certain genre, you're a dork?
No, I was just being a smartass.
Nice.
Well, okay, so this is a news. I
sent you another news story that didn't get mentioned today.
It's a study. What's that? Oh, the guy.
the man in Green Bay who got arrested.
Yeah, some guy in Green Bay got arrested, and his name's D's Nuts.
Yeah, had it legally changed to D's Nuts Kroll, and apparently he got hit with he charged with battery.
No way.
He was shooting people with a BB gun, I think. D's Nuts. How you like D's BBs?
Wow. Yeah, so this is a compilation of scientific studies that have investigated personality traits associated with music genres. And there are some unexpected facts in here, like the fact that psychopaths are more likely to enjoy No Diggity.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so if you like...
How do they reach that conclusion?
Well, what they say is that you oftentimes listen to music from artists that that are like you or you think are like you. So if you like David Bowie, it's because...
You identify with or you feel like?
You feel like you're a little out there like David Bowie. And
isn't it also kind of manifestation type stuff too?
Probably.
Like they say people listen to stuff that they want to be like. Like, I mean... Like if people want to be hard or they want to be kind of gangster, like they listen to more like aggressive rap and things like that.
They're saying that if you like popular chart-topping music, you're more likely to be an agreeable person.
That makes total sense.
Total sense, yeah, because that's what they force feed you.
It's generally pleasing, and that's what you go for.
This is fine. Little do you know, it sucks. People who listen to extreme heavy metal about violence. Now, this was our old producer, Mike Lynch.
Right. And this was kind of what I've thought with, like, the hard rap thing. Like, same with, like, really aggressive metal.
No more likely to be violent themselves, and in fact, just find joy in the music. And that is what Mike always said.
Wonderful. You don't get that vibe from the music itself, but from the people who listen to it, sure.
Now, if you like exaggerated bass in music, it could be bad news for you. So it says, when we choose music, we often choose music by people who we think are like us. David Bowie fans are drawn to him because of his slight weirdness and neuroticism. Radiohead fans are drawn to the band because of their open, experimental nature. So this research is based on 80,000 fans and 50 famous musicians. They asked fans to give personality ratings for the public persona of each artist and found that people naturally gravitate towards artists that are similar to themselves. Marvin Gaye fans tend to be agreeable. Ozzy Osbourne fans tend to be more obnoxious and disagreeable, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Big bass lines are an unavoidable feature of modern music, but you might be surprised by what a fondness for bass lines says about your personality. This is a study from 1997 in the journal Personality and Individual Differences, and it found that men are more likely than women to enjoy music with exaggerated bass. So are extroverts and people who are psychotic.
Okay.
So the researchers...
So those jackasses driving around your street bumping their bass,
Yep.
with, like they're psychos?
Psychoticism, gender, and extroversion are all positively related to preference for enhanced bass. So real-life psychopaths are not like the classical music-loving Hannibal Lecter and are actually more likely to enjoy retro rap. No Diggity and Eminem's Lose Yourself were enjoyed by people with the highest scores for psychopathy in a 2017 study. The least psychopathic people enjoyed My Sharona by The Knack.
Oh no.
How about that?
We sing our newborn a song to the tune of My Sharona because his name kind of rhymes with it.
Cute. Can you sing it for us?
Maze Dakota.
Aw, that is the cutest thing I've heard all week.
Yeah.
And I've heard Suk say some cute things. Cute. Empathetic people prefer mellow music.
Makes sense.
Does make sense. Jazz music, very empathetic. What else? Violent music does not mean you're violent.